It looks that way. We don't think that's
None at all. Okay. We got a 6% cut from that. In the last 10 years, we're down 19%.
right there.
Staff message behind.
What used to be 7 cost of double. Yeah.
So they're 2 weeks worth.
This is so.
You can give a. He's got to be able to.
Yeah, yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he had where he was. Jim. I wish I could call this. I wish it was. Yeah, I wish I was his,
One of them.
He's doing good now, yeah. No, he always was good. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. I agree.
Get back.
So you'll play the same?
No, these.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let me call the special meeting of the Greater Alexandria Economic Development Authority to order. It is May 23rd, 2024, 8 a.m. Alexandria City Council Chambers. Roll call, please.
Mr. Oakley?
Here.
Dr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Katz? Here. Mr. Carroll?
Here.
Mr. Patel?
Here.
Mr. Morgan?
Here.
Mr. Powell?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have the floor.
The first item are public comments pursuant to the Louisiana Revised Statute 42:14, public comments, please.
Can we have public comments after each of the items so they can enter the session and then comment on the discussion?
Let's do that. We're gonna have to look at the agenda, which will require the unanimous vote of the issue.
Well, I'd like to put that on the floor for
Okay, please make a motion.
motion to have public comments after each agenda item so the public can discuss, have comments on our discussions as well.
Second.
Second.
Well, and it says a public meeting, so they have to come in after each item. So,
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any comments by the commissioners? No comment? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Upton?
No?
Dr. Lewis?
yes.
Ms. Katz?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
No.
Mr. Patel?
No.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Callis?
No.
Okay, motion fails, or,
I have a public comment.
okay, yes.
You have to have,
On agenda items, there's public comment. You don't have to do it at the beginning of every meeting. You can do a public comment after you do a motion and a second, and it's public comment. As you all know, this is what the body has done throughout its existence. You don't put public comment at the beginning. You can have public comment after the motions as well. And in addition to that, Dr. Lewis, I would ask, because Mr. Upton removed invocation out of here, I would ask as my public comment, that any pastor in this room come up and give a prayer for this group of individuals and this body before we get started this evening. Thank you. Any pastor. Thank you.
Shall we pray? I got it, my Father, this meeting that has been called this morning. We wish to all to want to thank you once again for sending us alive. Lord, as we come to this meeting, oh God, we ask for your presence to be here, that everything would be done decent and in order. Oh God, that you would be the one who will be able to regulate understanding, that we might be able to come to a meeting of the mind, that we do the right thing for the citizens of the thing. We ask you in Jesus' name.
Any other further public comments?
Good morning to all. State Representative Ed Largadane, third, District 26, this is my district. It's quite unusual to have public comment at the beginning, but I'll do what I have to do. I'm concerned about this agenda. Let me tell you what troubles me, folks. I've seen 90 days of drama and confusion, which is not needed in our community. Personally, right now, I need to be in Baton Rouge dealing with more important issues. We're currently in session. I need to be getting money and resources for our community, which we need jobs. We need better paying jobs, we need better improvement, infrastructure, more affordable housing, much more. But I'm here dealing with a lot of foolishness. What troubles me, folks, on GAEDA board, there are 4.6 million people in the great state of Louisiana. There's 1.6 million African Americans. This body is treating African Americans as if we just don't exist. This is not 1940. This is 2024. The GAEDA board was created many years ago by Mr. Speaker Charlie DeWitt. It was designed as an economic development engine to create opportunities in our community, which we desperately need. It works. It's a great program if used correctly. Now GAEDA is a problem. As the legislator in this district, I have the bylaws and the rules of how it's set up and why it was set up. By no means do I want this to stop, because we need GAEDA. If we're going to keep young folks in our community, we have to create jobs. The state of Louisiana is losing multiple thousands of folks every year. We need GAEDA. We have 7 members on the GAEDA board. 4 of you all probably want this to dissolve. Mr. Upton, Mr. Patel, Mr. Callis, and Mr. Carroll. I've worked with a few of y'all, but I haven't worked with all of you. These 4 members want to dissolve GAEDA because they don't want an African-American female to be the executive director. That's troubling now. I've known Ms. Bernardo a long time. She's a very talented and skillful person, She has the utmost integrity and character, but now she's not qualified to do this job. This is not fair. We cannot move our city and community forward if we're judging people on race alone. Not one of the four can say that Ms. Bernardo is not qualified to do this job because she's been doing it. The color of her skin is a problem, but she was born that way. I know her mom and I know her dad. Her mother would be appalled. She's in heaven because people are treating her daughters like this. We're better than this. We shouldn't be doing this. I was on this city council many years ago. I never got involved with GAEDA. Why? Didn't need to. I wanted GAEDA to function. I didn't want to get involved. Jules Green, Joe Fuller, Malcolm, we didn't care about, let you do what you have to do. But now we have a city council. My friend, Mr. Root, Mr. Fowler, Mr. Valor, now Ms. Felton, the mayor, want to control GAEDA. Why? This city has so much problems, crime, drainage, groundwater, infrastructure, not enough housing, but yet we're attacking Ms. Bernardo. We also attacking Ms. Tiffany Sanders, which is wrong. Ms. Sanders is a skillful attorney. She understands the role of GAEDA, and GAEDA is needed. Young folks are leaving our community. When they see this foolishness, they don't want to live here. Kids are graduating right now. We're giving, just to tell you, let me go to 10 real quick. We're putting in the legislature, we're fighting over budget. We're putting about $315 million in top scholarships for young folks. They're not going to stay here if we keep having this Jim Crow and these colored water issues. We have to do better. I'm supposed to be in my seat for 9 o'clock in Baton Rouge. I've got to fight, our delegation has to fight, the KDM delegation, New Orleans, capital city, we fight over money and resources. This foolishness sends a chilling effect throughout our state, and it shows Alexandria is not ready for business. We can't move forward if we're treating people like this. Let me tell you why it's important. Several years ago, the Department of Transportation wanted to spend millions of dollars to redesign the traffic circle because of safety. Our leaders at the time said no. Those millions of dollars traveled to Shreveport. The same people in DOTD laughed at me when I got elected in 2019. What's wrong with Alexandria? You all didn't want this money, but now it was sent to Shreveport. There's a problem with the leadership here. The group didn't want the money because it was going to kill the mall. The mall is nearly dead. I still have to deal with those issues in the legislation. Another example, let's talk about Wi-Fi and broadband. Some of y'all don't know this, some of you do. When President Obama was elected as president, he was campaigning throughout the country. He knew that there was a great digital divide in Louisiana. He tried to bring millions of dollars to Louisiana for broadband. The former governor general said no. Because he said no, that money was sent elsewhere. You need broadband like you need water. It's vital. Our young folks are addicted to it. Poor leadership is not what we need. When you make bad decisions, it affects all of us. We are not in 1940, we're in 2024, and it has to get better. Mr. Upton, Mr. Carroll, Mr. Callis, Mr. Patel, you don't want your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren to see how you're treating African Americans. It's wrong. You will go down in Alexandria history and state history as individuals stuck in time. I can't go to Baton Rouge and beg and plead for money and resources when we're stuck in 1940. if you dissolve GAEDA, you're gonna hurt this community because these groups and nonprofits depend on those resources. If you want to dissolve GAEDA, just resign and let it keep going. It's doing a great job. GAEDA is needed in our community. They serve the Alexandria Convention and Viewers Convention, the Alexandria Museum of Arts, the Future Farmers of America Convention. Young folks come here. Rapides Parish Coliseum, Rapides Symphony, River Oaks Museum. Also, my local pastors are requesting funding and so much. I think today is the last day of school here. You benefit from GAEDA. But I don't want African Americans spending their money in your establishments. Mr. Callis, you're about to open up a restaurant. I don't want folks spending $1 in your business. Mr. Upton, you're an attorney with gold wings. I don't want folks using your business because you don't treat African Americans fair. Mr. Carroll, I'm disappointed because I know you and you know better. I know you want to call the question and go ahead and destroy the city, which you're welcome to do that. But understand you're going to go down in history very negative to the city and the state. The rules of dissolving this program, the city will now take it over, the mayor and the city council. But at the end of the day, it's going to hurt the people. You need a with the governor, and the governor wants to be king. But that does not help everybody. You can't be king. You have to be willing to work. But to say in 2024, this young lady is not qualified, willing to destroy the whole board is troubling. Now, I've talked to some of my legislators and we know what's going on. We know what's going on. They couldn't come, but I had to come because I'm on the council and I've had a member appointed years ago. We can't fight folks for money because I don't know, our budget is probably about $48 billion, give or take, allowing Medicaid, hospitals, nursing home, education. It's tough for us to bring money when my colleagues are saying, hey man, you all treat black folks like second-class citizens. Why should we give money to you all? You don't need it. If we're gonna keep young folks in this community, we gotta do better, folks. We have to do better. Our community's dying. Our state's dying. There's no growth. To give you an idea, we've lost 1,400 teachers the last 2-3 years in Texas. See all these folks? They got family in Texas. Austin, Katy, Houston, Dallas. Why? Because they don't want to be in this environment. We're bigger than that. We've got to do better. I'm here because I'm concerned about my community, and I don't like the way this is being handled. I normally don't get involved with stuff like this. I let the city council, I let the police jury, like Pineville, I let them do this. But I can't stand idly by and let you attack a young lady who's qualified and who's capable of doing the work. And she's been doing the work for several years. And to attack her is unwarranted and unjustifiable and really just wrong at all ends. We're better than that. If we're going to move this city forward, we have to keep GAEDA, but we got to stop attacking African American women. It's sexist and it's wrong. Attacking Ms. Tiffany Sanders is wrong. Attacking Ms. Bernardo is wrong. We cannot grow as a community and create jobs if we're stuck in 1940. It's wrong. You talk about not having a skill set and not having talented people. None folks are leaving. We know where they're going. They're going to Texas. They're going to Texas, Nashville, California, Florida, North Carolina. They're going to progressive cities. Why? Because they're treated fairly. I'm asking you all to stop the drama, let it go, continue to function. These local NGOs need the resources, and if you close it down, you're going to kill our community. I shouldn't have to come down and beg you to do what's right. You know what's right.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, by the way. Met you a couple of times. I'm John Callis. It's nice to meet you. You know, you were on the council before, and you had discussed just briefly a minute ago that you sort of let the organization kind of do what you thought it should be doing.
Yes.
I was appointed to the board about 75 days ago, and within about 8 hours, I pulled all the financial statements down, and I started, like you, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. There is a population decrease, which is a decrease in hotel revenues. There's a lot of decrease going on. But what I had seen is, and you see it at the state level too, I see flat hotel taxes in Alexandria literally growing at 0.8%, not growing much at all. We can all agree on that.
Yes.
We have a population decrease. And what's going up is this GAEDA's expenses, and the budget for 2024 was $514,000 to run the organization. I understand people want to talk about the race issues. I am very focused. I mean, anybody that follows my Facebook page, all right, glass of water, follow my Facebook page, see that I track these numbers specifically. I talk nothing but these numbers, and that's my focus. Why I see an organization that's in trouble, that has to get its expenses reined in. I compare this, my next post is where I compare this organization to other organizations in the state. And I just have serious problems with 19 years of what I have seen. Now, you haven't been on, I think it's been, 8 years, 6 years since you were on the council, and I've worked with your brother before. Your brother, I sold your brother. He needed that nice property there near the hospital. I worked with your brother. I like your brother. I'm talking about specifically about the organization and the running of this business. When 5/8 of the business goes to just running the organization, that to me, that's my role.
Okay, I can answer that. The way GAEDA was set up, you've got a super small staff, you got the executive director, you've got the secretary, and that's what Mr. Bernardo was doing for a long time. To run an operation when you have 2 people is expensive and it's time consuming. When you're around, when you're asking people to get documents, get papers on the phone, getting emails, these are groups that may not know how to get the funding. When you're constantly on the phone talking and doing stuff, you're gonna have to spend a ton of time and resources and money. In order to get good talent, you have to pay for it. Just to give you an idea on the governor's staff, we've got a secretary of transportation, secretary of DCFS. We've given them they almost at a little over $200,000. If you're going to get good people there, you're going to pay for the talent. We're losing teachers because we're not paying talent. Now, if there's a problem with what you're doing, then you say, hey, let's sit down in a retreat. Let's talk with the attorney. Let's talk with him and say, how do we correct that? But going here dissolving, no. I don't want you to dissolve it. Why? Because it's too damn hard to create these opportunities. It's hard to create these opportunities, especially with economic development. If you got a problem, sit down, say, hey, I've got a problem with this. Let's get together and retreat. Let's talk executive session. What can we do to cut it down? The next biggest problem is that there's no growth in the community. There's no growth in the city. The conventions that we do have, you provide for. The future farmers of America. That's 1,200-1,500 young folks. They come to the county. They spend money. They're here. GAEDA provides those resources. If you don't have that, you're not putting people in the hotels.
So let me ask you a follow-up question. If you were back on the council, say 8 years ago, what would you have done with looking at this organization? I think this is a great question for you, because what would you have done to provide maybe more oversight on this?
All I would do is talk to the executive and talk to the attorney and say, hey, I've got a problem here with this issue. Let's get together in executive session for a weekend. Let's talk about our experiences, where we plan to go, where we intend to get. And that's it. That's all we do. Why? Because the 2 members who have just got on the board, you don't know the procedures and what's going on. You just can't go in and start, hey, I'm going to delete this, delete that. When I was in the legislature, when I got in the legislature, I was on transportation. I had to just sit there and listen and watch. I didn't know what this road, where that road going. I didn't know the Mississippi River Bridge cost $1 billion to replace. I didn't know this roadway cost $50 million here. You've got to take the time and say, okay, we look at the financials, we got a problem. Let's get together, let's go a retreat and let's sit down and look at the experience and say, hey, how do we keep this? How do we not keep it? What are our goals? What are our objectives? What are we trying to do to bring people in the community? Because I'm gonna tell you, I can't bring people in the community when you're attacking an African-American female. I can't do that. Why?
I didn't all understand.
Yeah. Go ahead, answer the question.
Yeah, you did. I mean, from my standpoint, it's a very clear issue to me. I see an organization that has never had any oversight at all at the city council level. And I feel like it's just, other than appointing members, it just doesn't feel like to me that this, if you let an organization run like this, you get people that give themselves $15,000 raises last year. And I agree with you, give us a little bit of credit to people that have come on the board. We've asked these questions. We are asking these questions, and we've done it very politely, like, what can we do? I see Mr. Lawson, good to see you again.
We had a whole retreat just to do exactly what they said.
Well,
Community was there, we went
I'm
line
almost
by
finished.
line.
I'm almost finished.
Every revised statute.
That's right.
We asked for input for the budget and the strategies to approve applications. That was not only from the community, but that was from the board, specifically for the new members who don't know the protocols or procedures for this. So let's speak the truth when we're saying it. Thank you.
Well, let me say something.
Let's get back.
Let me say something on the state level. On the state level, we've got some legislation with the government. We have 364 boards in the state. We've got 5 educational boards at Southern Board, Byron, LSU Board, Technical College. We've got bills where all of the educational boards, the governor makes all the appointees. The governor wants to select all of the chairmen. The reason that is a problem, because the board within themselves needs to decide who do we feel comfortable leading. When the governor appoints the person, the governor's gonna look at the one who has the big pockets. On the educational boards, you've got to deal with SACS accreditation, funding, staffing, so forth. Just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with in Baton Rouge, and you all understand this, LSU, which is the largest educational system, has a budget of more than $1 billion with a B. That doesn't include the millions that they receive through grants. So when you look at the LSU system, we're dealing with 1,000 students, thousands of staff and employees, and $1 billion budget. What makes LSU different is that LSU has 2 medical schools, Shreveport, New Orleans, a dental school in New Orleans, and a law school in Baton Rouge. So when you look at the structure and how it's set up, we don't want to be politicizing these boards. Why? Because you're not going to get the top talent. You're going to get folks who have deep pockets. That's why boards are important. The structure of your board is important because that sets your diagram of what you're going to do. Now, I'm going to be quiet and let my friend Myron Lawson talk about some issues. If you've got a problem with GAEDA, go into a retreat. Let's hash this out. But dissolving it, I don't want that to happen, because if you all say, I want to create another GAEDA, my colleagues in legislature say, no, you have one. We're not creating that. It's not, we always can't get these programs. That money in Shreveport is in Shreveport. It's not back in Alexandria. That Wi-Fi that the president spent over there, it's not Alexandria. We're spending some other Wi-Fi.
So just to answer that, ask one last, just that one final question. When you feel that the city council should have no oversight other than appointing people to the board?
Let me tell you the problem with oversight. Sometimes you can get too involved and you forget your mission. You all are 7 competent people who understand right from wrong. Let me tell you this. We've got 376 boards in the state of Louisiana. All over the state, water board, sewer board, LSU board, Southern board, Graham, all these boards. We don't have time to deal with this board and that board and that board when we're trying to create jobs, keep hospitals open, keep kids in school, keep kids out of meth, deal with mental health issues, roads, bridges. We got a $2 billion, we got a $1 billion airport in New Orleans. We're bringing in more flights. We got a port. We're bringing in more cruises in New Orleans. We got a port here. We've got too much. I don't have time to, hey man, we should do this board. No.
No, I understand, you're at the state level, though, but I'm talking about the city council,
You've got, listen, you've got 7 competent people up there. They know right from wrong. Let me tell you something. If any one of you all do wrong, you're gonna get locked up. Malfeasance. All of you all know what you do. You've got Upton attorney, you know what to do. You don't have to just micromanage, I gotta control this. No, they know what they're doing. If they do something wrong, they're gonna go to jail.
Should be confiscated.
But you put 7 people on there, they know what to do. Most of the folks on this board are business owners, they know how to run a business. You gotta have assets, losses. You gotta pay bills.
Mr. Robert, you're welcome at my restaurant, by the way, when I open. You are welcome to come. I know you want to tell everybody no, but you're welcome. Everybody's welcome, by the way. And, you know, I know there's been a lot of talk about that, but you're welcome.
Good morning. This is unbelievable. Should you micromanage as a council? Tell the GAEDA board what to do. My response is, excuse me, as my chairman of the people board is here, is hell no. You appoint competent people and let them do the job. I know that, and I know what GAEDA was intended for because the name was brought about by me. I went to Reverend B.G. Dyson as a senator, as Charlie DeWitt brought this bill that mimics the World Trade Center. Mimics. They don't micromanage. I know what it's about. This is not what it's about. This is shameful. This is not who we are. How do you judge people before you know them? People that have been with the GAEDA board, attorneys with reputations that ain't acceptable. You made a judgment call before you got a chance to know. It's very dangerous. That's judging a meal before you taste it. These are competent people. These are people that have other things to do. I'm like Mr. Larkin, as chair of Southern Board, I'm supposed to do the legislature. Drove from New Orleans to get to this meeting. Foolishness. No, I have not been to a GAEDA board meeting since we started. I see more city council attending GAEDA board than we attended in 8 years. Did the GAEDA board legislation change? Or did the people change? I never heard this problem until a few months ago. No concerns, everything's running smoothly. I suggest a retreat. I suggest you push the reset button. And why is it kept? And maybe we don't know. I remember the last speech I was told about that Martin Luther King gave to this community. He likened Louisiana to Rip Van Winkle's novel, Sleeping Through the Revolution. If you believe that that salary is too much, Sleeping Through the Revolution. I paid faculty members $200,000 a year. $175,000, and if you feel that that person is not doing the work, you evaluate that person. How do you evaluate a person before you know them, before you see the work? You came in cut, slash, burnings. And for us, we didn't know what we were doing, and I beg to differ. When I was elected and the council became a majority, the town talk headline was, if you elect Lawson, you will be electing the liberals. The liberals will take over the city. Yes, it was. Letter went out. The tone will change, and it didn't change. We became more solid. We were running a deficit mode. We turned over a $5 million surplus after 4 years. We brought in companies like Union Tank that were created the GAEDA board. The liberals take it up. What do you know about running things? Get on the city council. You came from the police jury. You don't know anything. Brother J. Scott, from police bureau. You're gonna fight. This something's going on. We gotta clean it up. People are looking at it. I hear it from people across the state. GAEDA board was known to bring in organizations like we sweat, tournaments, baseball, softball, tennis. I thought the commissioner this past December about bringing it back. He's committed to bringing it back. This was the organization that I used as the example to bring sports events here, sporting events here. It's no longer the example. Is that what we want? So we're gonna destroy what the cabinet should have been to invite businesses to come to this community? That's what you're about to do? You're gonna destroy it? When we brought the Spain exhibit, Mr. Obade Laverne here, this council, and create all excitement across the country? Is that what we're about to do? We're gonna destroy one of the largest festivals that we had that this board was responsible for, called Curing on the Red, that's correct. 16,000 plus people. That liberal council was behind that idea too. Very successful. Mays was here, packed it. Y'all remember that? Is that what y'all like to do? Is that what we are? That's what we are? Come on, we can do better. I suggest you press the reset button. Think about it. What is the sense of urgency? What is so urgent to do this? If you think the salary is too high, tell me the comparisons that you comparison. Show me your comps. What are the salaries? Show me what the executive director of New Orleans makes. Show me what Lafayette, Shreveport. I'm meeting right now with folks that's bringing studios to Shreveport because they're getting out of this philosophy and this thinking. 50 cents building down there. What's happening down there? New Orleans just left. What's going on there? What's happening here with tourism? Tell me one thing that's happened in recent months that fostered growth, that you talk about bringing more people, more kids than beds. Can y'all tell me right now? But the salary's been about 2 women over budget stuff. And what I will say to you, as I take my seat, you get what you think. Nobody complaining that small people making too much money. The highest paid people in the state of Louisiana are sports-related people, right? We pay a president $500,000 and stuff. What is too much money? If you're bringing in an industry that's gonna put 15, 25 jobs, multiple heads and beds, and foster positive vibes instead of negative vibes. This board was not created for this. Don't do this. You don't realize the people that this board touch. You'll realize if you just sell it. I'm telling you about to realize. This is not going to promote any great relationships. And you're going to see a community come together that haven't come together, quite frankly. You're going to see multiple facets of this community. So I would suggest to you, rethink about what you're doing. And don't approach it with such aggressiveness and the urgency. Can anybody tell me what is the sense of urgency? What is the sense of urgency? Somebody tell me. Why does this have to be done today? Thank you.
I'd like to say also, haste makes waste. I'd like to appeal to your hearts, because for some, it appears that your heart and your mind's already made up. And the purpose of public comment is so that you can be open to hearing the will of the people, and so that it may be able to sway you. If your hearts are not open to hearing the will of the people, then public comment is moot. That's why it's mandated to be on the agendas. The takeover of the board was hostile. Hostility has been in the air. People have been disrespected. People have felt not heard. And that's not the purpose of the commissioners. It is to hear the will of the people. It is to be open for change if your minds need to be changed. The board has counsel. The board has competent people, and those who put them on the board should put qualified, competent people who know how to take a budget and look at it and see what we all have homes that we have to manage, and most of us have businesses that we have to manage. A lot of planning goes into getting something to be on the agenda in the legislature, to get it put on the ballot. Then it put approved down in Baton Rouge. Then it goes up for a vote. And then the will of the people have to vote on whether or not they want to put a tax and use it this way. The people have spoken. And the people have said, we want GAEDA. And we want GAEDA to be used to help our impoverished communities, to help educate our people to have a stronger workforce, to make lives better for all people in Central Louisiana. That's the purpose, to help nonprofits out, not just hotels. I feel that the chaos from the city council is now being turned over to the chaos of GAEDA. And it don't have to be. Honesty and transparency and the will of the people is what this is supposed to be about. Transparency. This agenda that is here, this is pre-planned. That happened in a secret meeting because it hadn't happened in any meetings that we've been at. And this wasn't something that was just thought of. This was planned out. So maybe this is the real agenda and we're just now catching on to it. That's the way it appears. Because we feel that there has not been honesty and transparency. And I pray that your minds have not been made up to the point to where you cannot hear and be open to reason. But I'm telling you, honestly, it appears that honesty and transparency has not been forthcoming. And it appears from the outside looking in that it's with the four that continue to vote the same, which is opposite of the will of the people, and the four that appears to not be open to hearing what the people have to say, to be open to change. And that's what the problem is. That's where the problem is. If you as commissioners don't want to do the will of GAEDA, I implore you to resign from your position and let someone else take the position that want to do the will of the people. It took a lot of effort to get this on the legislature, to get it passed, to get it on a ballot, to put it before the people to vote, and then the people vote on the tax.
That's hard.
And all of the people that the fundings affect, multicultural, multi-generational. And for you to say that we want to dissolve that because it's not going the way we want it or we have another agenda, then I say, time out. Look at research what the initial motive of GAEDA was for, what it was intended for. And if you find that you don't want to be a part of this, then don't make all the people suffer. And this is not all the people that that we're representing here. Please understand that. Again, I have always been told that when you have done wrong, and yes, wrong has been done here, that you have a moral obligation, a moral one, to make it right. To make it right. How do you make it right? If you're not willing to do the will of the people, resign from office and let the will of the people go. To some, I feel heard. To others, I can tell by your body language that I'm just going through the motions for you. And for you, I say, when you're under pressure, your character really surfaces. And we see you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Roy Kellogg, Senior Pastor of Second Evergreen Missionary Baptist Church, the President and Moderator of United Educational Missionary Baptist Association. And we are here because we are concerned about this closing and dissolving GAEDA. GAEDA has been designed to be provide economic development for the community so that people can have better lives in the city. And it is very important in this city. It works. We've seen it work. And as Brother Malcolm Ed said, if there's a problem with finances, if there's a problem, we can go back to the drawing board and deal with those issues. But it's obvious that we have another issue at hand. We have some more handwriting on the wall. It is that, and I would urge you, GAEDA, and those who are on the board, but my direction is to city council, those who appointed you on the board. You were appointed to do the business of the people, to have your GAEDA meetings, whether it's yes or nay. Okay, not okay. And for you to not to appeal at the meetings so that you would have a quorum in order to do the people's business, then that's a city councilman problem. If you cannot be at the meeting or perform your duty, you be dismissed. United was there, Moderator Bacon was there, who's the moderator of Educational Missionary Baptist Association, our churches, our staff members, and we were there for either answer, yea or nay. But we run into a board whose hands were tied, simply because they didn't have a quorum in order to transact the people's business. Now, why is that? And some, matter of fact, to my knowledge, they hadn't done any business since February. So why is the hands of the GAEDA board tied where they cannot transact the people's business because people are absent? And if the city council appointed you to the board to do the people's business and you are absent from doing the people's business, then it becomes the city council responsibility to remove you from the board and put somebody on the board that can transact the people's business and be there to perform so that business can be conducted. So there's no reason for the board to, even if you have a financial crisis, that's still not answering the question why you're not at the meeting. So there's another issue. And so I would urge you to come together and let's try to figure out a solution to this problem, whatever it may be. And wherever the problem is, then we need to move the problem rather than dissolving the board.
That's right.
And we will, even if you decide not to, it won't go away. We will move to the council. We will even move to the mayor's office. It doesn't matter. Something has got to be done. And I speak for United, with all the churches in our district and the people that we represent. And I'm sure Moderator Bacon is here. We are all here because we're concerned about this issue. And we're not going to let it go away. And so I would urge you for us to come together and come to a meeting of the mind to try to move forward, whether we need to make some adjustments or what have you, but to resolve it. And here's my other question. Who gives you the right to resolve the board that you didn't create? Some of you have not been at the meeting in 3 months, but yet you can come here and vote for a resolution to resolve the board when you haven't been at the meeting that you're supposed to be at. I think that's a city council problem. Because they appointed you to the board to transact the people's business. And so if I'm working for an organization or company, here it is, if I can't do my job, they're gonna move me from the board or from that job and put somebody else in there that can figure out the work. And so we're leaning on you as well as on the council to try to make this thing work or let us come to some meeting of the mind that we can make this happen. Because the truth of the matter is, it's hurting our community. It's going to hurt our community. And we just came to the GAEDA board. We just walk up there to do some business. And so why is our GAEDA board locked up that the people of the community can't do any business? There's no quorum there for them to do business. So we got a problem there. And why they are absent? I mean, we live in a modern society. I mean, I don't know if you can go by proxy or by FaceTime, but still in all, there ought to be some accountability for not being at the meeting that long, for not being able to transact the people's business. And I think that responsibility lies with the city council. And so we urge you to get it together. The council, those people that's supposed to be at the GAEDA's meeting, when they're supposed to be there to transact the people's business, either make sure that they're doing their job or they need to be resolved still in the GAEDA meeting.
And just for clarity, GAEDA is not in any financial crisis. Mr. Keller just has a problem with who's being paid Ms. Amy's salary and Ms. Tiffany Sanders.
Actually,
That's
that's not true. You know that.
so many audits and none of that's
You
been.
know that, Dr. Lewis, you've had 19 years of financials to look at, and not once have you ever addressed anything about its financials. All you have done is filed 7 ethics complaints with the state.
Actually, that's fine.
One of the first things you
But there's no financial. There's no financial.
Yes,
Just for clarity, there's no
Yeah,
financial.
just for.
Yes, sir, our next public comment, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me say this. Today I stand in opposition to dissolve GAEDA. I stand in opposition to the people, some of the people that the city councilman has appointed to GAEDA. I don't think this so much is a GAEDA problem as it is a city council problem. It's been less than 90 days, and all of a sudden we've descended into chaos. And let's just look at where we are. Let's just look at where we are as a GAEDA board. Let's look at where we are as a community right now. We live in a community where there is a record number of utilities being shut off. We live in a community where there's a failed storm plan. We still live in a community where the bond rating is dropping, seems like every day. We live in a community that crime is unchecked and out of control. We live in a community that if the officer was free to speak, he'll tell you that there's a shortage of police officers. We live in a community that is economically depressed. And how do we solve those problems? We're going to resolve a board that's designed to bring economic stimulus to that same depressed community. That's insanity. It's nonsensical. Okay? It doesn't make sense. Okay? And it points to failed leadership. Whether it be this board, whether it be the city councilman who put people on the board, whether it be the mayor who's the hidden hand behind the board. Just call a spade a spade.
That's right.
It's hidden hands behind what's going on here. And it's time for us to pull the wool off the cover and to call it exactly what it is. Enough is enough. I don't come here today to beg you. I don't come here today to, like the people who spoke before me, please do this, or I think we need to do that. In the Old Testament, the prophet came with warning. I come today to warn you. You want to open up a restaurant? Vote the shutdown of GAEDA. And I promise you, you won't have a black person who will come in that restaurant. I will do everything I can within my power as a community organizer and a leader to fight you. If you don't give a damn about my community, I won't care nothing about yours. It's just that simple with me. Okay? And I got the floor now, sir. You can hold that point. You say, look, if you'd been at the last meetings, you could have said whatever you wanted to say. You didn't have the temerity to show up. Okay? So let's just be clear here. I come to warn you. If it calls for a boycott of the city, Mayor, I hope you listen.
Absolutely.
That's what we'll call for.
Absolutely.
We'll call for an economic boycott of this city.
Absolutely.
That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Okay? The Jim Crowism that's trying to be united, I'm not a sharecropper Negro coming to beg you for nothing. I'm coming to let you know. I'm giving you warning. You think the city, you can smile. You think the city is in a chaos? You think the city is in chaos now? Every business owner
Yes, sir.
will suffer. We'll take our business somewhere else. Have a good day.
Good job, good job.
But GAEDA is a visionary leader and purpose to promote economic development, creating a better quality of life for Alexandria citizens. A better quality of life for Alexandria citizens. Does that include you, Mr. Upton? You, Mr. Carroll, you, Mr. Patel, and you, Mr. Callis? Because you all are citizens of Alexandria. Now, you may not need a better life, a better quality of life, but this community in the city does. What you're doing here today to stop the better quality of life for Alexandria citizens and for the economic of the city, to dismantle or to shut down or to liquidate, as your statement said, to liquidate the GAEDA board. That's not acceptable. You, in February, was bought, you, Mr. Council, and you, Mr. Upton, was bought before the city council by Councilwoman Felton and Councilman Lee. I opposed you to, because I couldn't understand why at that time. My question today is, why now? We never get an answer. Mr. Callis, why now? Why now? Or we liquidate this board? Mr. Upton, why now? Mr. Patel? Mr. Carroll?
Oh, it's open to the top.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you what my answer is. Because you have Mr. Gatto, who's a black African American. You have Miss Tiffany Sanders, who's a black African American woman. And you always want to say, this is not about race. I said that I wasn't going to bring race up. I told my friend this morning. But you can't even answer why. Why now? That's all we want to know is why now? This board has been in existence, how many years, Ms. Angie?
Actually, 21.
21 years. You two came to this board in February. In February. And you have turned this board into a disaster. Two people. And Mr. Patel and Mr. Carroll. You know what this reminds me of? Peer pressure. High school students, peer pressure. You were doing good, both of you. Y'all were going along with the program. And then Mr. Callis and Mr. Upton comes, and things change. What happened, Mr. Patel? What happened, Mr. Kennedy? Well, everybody stood up here and asked a question, and we can't even get an answer. Why now? That is my question. I asked it in February when you was appointed. Why now? Ms. Belter gave a reason. Mr. Rubin gave a reason. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. But they gave the reason. My reason is, and my question to you, as a commissioner, Mr. Callis, Mr. Upton, Mr. Patel, Mr. Carroll, Ms. Pat, and Dr. Lewis, and Mr. Martin. Who can answer that question? I know you know why. But nobody can answer the question why. Well, I just answered the question because you don't want to Black African American women running this organization, SBA. You say it's not about the money, but clearly it is about the money. Shouldn't a Black person not make that kind of money? We're not allowed to make that kind of money. Why? Why now? And why should we be allowed to make that kind of money? You didn't give us the 40 acres and a mule. We don't expect nothing from you. We don't expect you to give us anything. I know that by now. Sitting in the seat for 3.5 years. So we're here to let you know that our community, the people that you think, the saying that you have heard, that we won't stand together is a lie. All right? Because we will stand together. We will fight this battle. Miss Angie, we will fight this battle with you. You will not fight it alone. Miss Sanders, you are a fighter. You are a fighter.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna fight for you as well.
Absolutely.
I want you all to know. My commissioner is Dr. Lewis. And he has fought a good fight. All I'm asking is to reconsider. It's not to make you look bad. You made your own self look bad. It's asking you to reconsider liquidating this board. Just like Pastor Harris said, we will shut you down.
Miss Perry, would you take, Miss Perry, would
You
you?
can't ask me any questions.
All right.
Okay.
Very good.
We'll go one way.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Franklin, here as a citizen of Alexandria, Louisiana, and to speak on behalf of GAEDA. I understand the fiduciary responsibility. That is important. We need to know where our dollars are going. But this is what I tell people. You can be fiscally conservative. Oh, yes, we look at the bottom line, save the money. But we can be penny wise and pound foolish. I'm fiscally responsible. Now, what does that mean? That means that I'll look at the financial well-being and seeing the outcome that I want. Not so much that I want, but the impact it will have upon the citizenry. When you may have to sometimes give more to get what you're gonna get, that's called being equitable. I know some people hear that word, they frown upon it. But if my memory serves me correctly, you're talking about, we talk about the shoestring budget, and I think that's what you all are saying. People say that, but you all are working on a shoestring administration. For a number of years, 21 years, Ms. Fernando, you've been there from the inception of this organization. And the amount of money that has been generated as a result of the conventions and events that have been held here in Central Louisiana, this is a long-term decision that you're making. This will be generational. The decision that we made on March 17th, we celebrated, well, we can say celebrate, but the 1954 Brown versus the Board of Education decision, 70 years. And I'm saying it because as an educational person who responds to those needs, are we really going forward or are we going backwards? So I'm here to ask for you to think about this decision, because there's a ripple effect. It's not just going to be Central, that Alexandria, Spyfield, and the surrounding areas. There have been organizations that came from across this nation who've supported various things. Not only did I know Peabody's not received any, well, I'll say the Peabody class of 1979, but Peabody, it's been told to me, and I would love to get that data to back it up so you all can promote this, that whenever Peabody has its homecoming, The financial impact is greater than what's happened with the Mardi Gras. That is amazing. If that's the case, let's look at this more closely, people. And I do want to say on behalf of this small number of people who are doing great jobs, what organization in central Louisiana has 3, maybe 4 people who are employed, who are dealing with millions of dollars and has had that impact that it's had? I think you need to reconsider. You know, there's an old adage that says, we should measure twice and cut once. Well, right now, we've just measured once, and we're gonna cut. And the reason why that adage is stated is because we should think before we do something. Because if we do this, this is gonna be an immeasurable, we're gonna have a quantified number we can come with, but there's gonna be something's immeasurable. The goodwill. The goodwill is what we need right now in our nation and in our country and our citizens who are here in Alexandria. Because when we don't, I heard people talk about trust. This is one of the adages I said to someone at one of our meetings. Truth plus transparency equals trust. And if we're trying to develop goodwill and develop trust within our citizenry, this measure right now will not do that. I'm not here to say, look, do what I want you to do. Far be it for me to be the person to say that. But what I am going to be the person I have been and will continue to be is for people to look within the reason of themselves. Micah 6:8 says we should walk justly with the Lord. I'm walking with the Lord, not with people, because I know people are fickle and people change, but God is consistent. He's sovereign. He knows all. Proverbs 16 says, man devises in their heart plans, but God directs the steps. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Isabel, and everything that has been said here this morning, I'm in total agreement with. I have been going to the GAEDA meetings before Callan Upton got put on the board. I've been going to GAEDA meetings since then. You don't show up. The first meeting you went to, Mr. Callis, your first question out of your mouth was to the CPA. How did they come up with Mr. Muller's salary? That was your first question. Just want to remind you of that. And I'm not going to be long. These things, as was said earlier, was done secretly. You guys knew what you wanted to do, how to do it, and when you wanted to do it. You just took your hoods off. That's what you did. You don't want to say it's about race, but it is. Mr. Carroll, Mr. Patel, Mr. Upton, and Callis. You have no clue whatsoever. Mr. Patel, you may be in the good group now, but they definitely will turn on you. I'm gonna make certain that my people will not stay in your motels or eat at your restaurants if you have any, especially Mr. Callis. A restaurant on Chester Street?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was. I will not come to your restaurant because you may not can identify me. But I'm going to leave you with this, and this is what the word says. You will reap what you will reap what you sow. And when you sow to the flesh, led by self-seeking desires, you will reap the only thing that flesh can produce, corruption. As the great Archbishop Desmond Tutu said, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. All right.
Good morning. I'm gonna be brief. Myron called me up about an hour ago. I was in Cheney, they said, with my mom still. He said, well, you get your priorities straight. So about 10 minutes later, my brother came in to leave. That's why I'm here. I said, and I watched Urban Pass. I watch our state representative, which I have great respect for, laying everything out. Then I watch America coming down the road from Shannon, I follow here, looking at what's going on, it's changed. 2 years ago, I decided to go to the city council. Before then, I served on 3 great teams. I worked for the Department of Justice with the FBI, with the U.S. Marshals. I worked 21 years with the Department of Army. I worked 20 years with the Department of Defense. I served with some great men. In 1985, my boss was Colin Powell, great leader. And you want to see a fight, no general and colonel sit back, they sit and they fight, they discuss stuff, and then they come out united. My appointee is Mr. Morgan right there. He has a military background, he has a DOD background. He's a man of integrity. I apologize to Mr. Morgan. About a month ago, I said, Ron, I did not mean for this to be this harsh on your family. He's retired, just like I could be on the beach with my wife right now, but I decided that I would come and serve as a family. I'm from a small town, Cheneyville. I don't need money. I got checks coming in. I sat and I watched GAEDA. I watched when they came here. They first created it. We had this town movement. We had something to look forward to. We had concerts. We had people together. Now, what did happen in the last 90 days? I've been trying to figure it out myself. I said, and I called Tiffany, she was in the chamber. She couldn't answer the phone. I said, and I called Cynthia. She said, I can't make it. She said, don't worry about it, I got you. But so happened, my brother came in and relieved me for me to be here. One thing we say the last 18, 19 months, the positivity that have my life, this has brought me close to God. This experience brought me out to God. All these special call meetings, we had one yesterday. We had one today. I forgot what time. I thought it was 2 o'clock. I told my man, it's just really after 8 o'clock. We got to be better than this. We got to take our ball and go home. We're going to make a game. Take our ball and grown men. We got to take their ball and go home. I've done stuff that I can't even tell you that I'm too much for this country and for this nation. This is petty. This is petty. When I met Angie, I walked up, prime military. I went up office. We sat down and he gave me the whole history again before he got ill. Now I'm here with a heavy heart because soon I finish, I'm going back to Chamber to sit with my mom. But we talking about taking away GAEDA. The worst thing that ever happened to Alexandria is the closing of the airport space. Yeah. We never recovered from that. That's 26, 27 years ago. We are tickling along, tick, 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 tick. We're going backwards. When I ran for city council, my main thing was to try to get some of these soldiers from Fort Johnson to come help spend their money in Alexandria. They're taking all their money to Lake Charles, which is further away. And now when they see this, because everything is broke, everything you can look on your phone, see everything that's going on. You think that general wants to send this soldiers down here with all the turmoil we have that we created? This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. So I'm hoping that something you guys that's changing home, because I've been coming here, I need you guys. We never had a problem with that. You know, you have fights, go behind closed doors, like Representative said, and you hash them out. You don't just destroy it. I called Tiffany, I seen her in action, a couple months ago, I said, you know what? If I have this trouble, you can represent me. Because you stand your ground.
Thank you.
You never said what you thought, you brought out the law.
Yes, sir.
You read the law.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna say this to the GAEDA members. Do not go up this board. Do not go up this board. You understand? Like I told you, everything is good. I want to see you smile a little bit. I want to see a smile on your face. It's gonna be all right. So all the best to all your pastors. All the best to GAEDA board and Ron. You know, you're like brothers. This guy right here, he fought in action with my brother before we did leave. So if you stand your ground, but I know you will. God bless you guys.
Good morning. Good morning. I too plead that you will, as a board, come to an understanding, come to some agreement based on all the facts and data that has been presented, that this would not be the right motion on me. But as I look at the agenda thoroughly, I continue to say, well, what's next? That's always my question. Because along this journey, this fight, this chaos, there's always something else. So what's next? To dissolve GAEDA. If I look at the ordinance, what that's written, it says it will go to a local governing body, which is what? City council. It goes to the city. Yesterday, I believe Mr. Johnson said there have been special call meetings, and I think the mayor came out yesterday publicly saying something about he's not aligned to this. But each of you are appointed by a city council person, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard that. Each of you represent and are reflective of the council person that you represent. So when I think what's next, I do tend to look to Mr. Johnson, Cynthia, Mr. Ruby, and other council that have appointed you. Are you in line with your representative? Mr. Rubin? Mr. Rubin spoke at one of the previous meetings about his position and his thoughts, or attempted to, right? So we've had a lot of special call meetings. And if truly there is disalignment to what is going on here today, then why aren't we having another meeting to remove the people that you're not aligned with, city council, as the mayor spoke yesterday? Again, there's so much more at stake. I've heard it. It is very, very disheartening to hear and see people like Myron who works tirelessly to bring about economic development. And I must say, I too appreciate all the fiscal responsibility that people say we have mentioned here today. Of course, we are all concerned about the financial state of our community. However, how we go about addressing it is critically important. And I'm not a person to attack anyone, but Mr. Callis, I heard you say 75 days. And within 75 days, you came on board with the butcher knife. But Mr. Callis, I also heard Miss Lizzie Felter speak with you. And she said, she approached you. You said, you didn't have any interest. I was sitting here and you were behind me. I heard your comments and I've watched your actions and I've listened to you. And you have dug deeply into the financials of GAEDA. But you have not presented one solution. I have not seen anything that says, here's how we should proceed forward. Are you aligned? Is Ms. Felter aligned with your approach and your stance? I don't know. But if the citizens are saying no, and please, and we're pleading with you, GAEDA, then what are the citizens saying to their council? What are the citizens saying to the mayor? And who's talking and answering the citizens? I understand your responsibility. I understand you want to take an approach to resolve something. But are the council people saying it's okay to attack, label, discredit, dishonor, disregard? Are we aligned to that? Is my question. And if that's yes, we have a bigger problem than just what's going on in the room today. The community in itself, then, Mr. Callis, is even more at stake and at risk. Because if the leadership, if you are truly reflective of the leadership of this community, we are really, really in trouble.
No, we're not. We're together.
I know this is public comment session. I know you're under no obligations to answer questions or make responses. I also can tell by your body motion, your actions, that your mind's made up. What I'm saying will fall on deaf ears. So I'm speaking to the gallery, and I'm speaking to the citizens of Alexandria. Yes, sir. Mr. Patel, I don't know you. I know a lot of Patels. And I'm just ashamed of the position you've staked out here. I'm ashamed, knowing where you come from, that you cast your lots in with the likes of Carroll, Upton, and Callis. I'm just, based on other Patels and I'll say. Just like was echoed earlier, the board members on commission that are appointed by the city council, they're the image and likeness of the council member who appointed them. They are a mirror image. They're a reflection. So what Lee Rubin represents, Upton represents. What Felter represents, Callis represents. You do not put a person, appoint a person on the board who, if you have one position, they have a diametrically opposed position from you. You simply don't do that. If you are in support of economic development for the African American community, you don't put a person on the board who's opposite against that. They are mirror reflections of their council members. Sure. And I know there was a mayoral briefing the other day. We have short memories, folks, and we got to improve on that. There's medicine out there that can help us with it. Here's the thing. If you go back prior to their ascent to the board, the mayor was sending his staff to the GAEDA board meetings, and they were trying to coerce, influence, intimidate the board into certain action. And when they stood strong, the persons that was up there before, then they got a council member to submit an ordinance to change the term of the board. And unbeknownst to him, that set the dominoes in motion. Now the others came through, ruler, got rid of one person, put Upton. Felter got rid of another person, put Callis. And once they did, then you had Carroll and Patel line up with them. They crossed lines. They turned coats. They changed their uniform. Yes, sir. Came back over to the other side. So folks, and I'm talking to all of you. I know they are mute. They're different. Here's the thing. Economic development is designed, and it was implemented to raise the standard of living in areas that were below the standard of living. It was designed to put things in place that are sustainable. They would continue with themselves. You don't have to put money back in time after time. Mr. Callis, I've read your treatise on economic analysis of history. I've worked in the industry in corporate America for 28 years, and part of my job was economic analysis and cost-benefit analysis of projects for the corporations, so that these projects, before we spend money, would make money. 28 years I've done it. I've read your treatise. A lot of things I agree with. There are some things you committed the sin of omission, that you actually just left out. And it created a one-sided view of what GAEDA's been doing. And you can't have it both ways. You can't just cherry pick the things that support your point and not have the other things that does not support your point and just present one side of the story. And that's what's been going on up here. If they want to talk about the salary for the attorney, the legal counsel, well, guess what? The new salary that they're recommending is the same.
Okay, exactly.
So is it about the salary? Is it about the money?
No.
No. If they're talking about the projects that were being done, and now you saw a course correction with the previous board, where they were trying to get closer to true economic development projects, projects that would generate jobs, raise the standard of living, and sustain itself. When they saw that happening, because you see, when that happens, you're directing the money where it needs to go. You're directing it to the African Americans. That was the shot across the bow. They came out now, and they were hell-bent that this would not happen. We cannot make this happen. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna remove the strong person in there, get her out of the way. We're gonna remove the other person, the experienced person who's been there for 21 years. We're gonna get her out of the way. Because God forbid we let the African-American community in Alexandria get money from GAEDA, develop projects. Because you know what, folks, we can do more with $1 million that gets it in than they could do with 10 million. Now, that's the God honest truth. You know we've been scraping by, you know we get by on very little. Yeah. We know how to make ends meet. Here's the thing. Mr. Callis, you brought up the point oversight. That's why I'm here, oversight. The thing is, if you put a person on the board and you have to stand over them to have them do things a certain way, what's the use of appointing them?
That's right.
Just do it yourself. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. I know all of you came in with your agenda, with your plan. You came in to do this. And some people know because in confidence I told you. This is what's going to happen. And Lord, it's making me look like a genius.
Come on now.
You don't get a genius, Mr. Ford.
Yes.
Because everything I said was going to happen has transpired over the last 75 days.
Sure did.
I don't have magic powers, but I can certainly read the trends. And I knew where this was headed. And it wasn't hard to figure out what the destination was. So here we are, we're at the destination. Now, if you go ahead and shut down GAEDA, Mr. Carroll, it's sad. We look you up. we know the background, we know the things you were in, we know how much money your firm manages. If you just made the amount of money that the banks give us on a checking account, they don't give interest on savings. You make 3 times what GAEDA brings in 1 year. You could finance your own economic development organization. And Mr. Patel, we can just look on the website and see what your property's valued at. And Mr. Upton, we know what Gold Wings do. We know what they get from the city. That's more than what GAEDA. So you see, folks, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's something deeper and darker than that.
Speak.
It's about we don't want you to be able to control this money and put it towards your own benefit in your own community. We don't want that. I mean, you've heard, if you attended city council meeting, you heard Lee Rubin say, I don't believe in a holiday for black people. So Martin Luther King, Juneteenth. Guess what? That's not just for black people. That's for everybody. But the thing is, a mirror image of the person he put on there. You know, if they tell you who they are, believe them. Don't say, oh no, he really don't feel that way. Oh no, he really don't mean that. Oh no, he's not like that. If they tell you who they are, believe them. Folks, if we could do economic development in the afflicted areas, that would lift its entire area. Let me give you some information. If GAEDA gives $10,000 to an organization to come into Alexandria and hold their event and stay in the rooms, which benefit Mr. Patel and anybody else that has a hotel, okay? The max that GAEDA could levy as a sales tax is 4%. So now if you give somebody $10,000 to come in, 4 cents on every dollar that's spent at the hotel, GAEDA will get back.
Yeah.
Now, just $10,000. If you did that, you're going to have $250,000 in revenue for that one conference, that one event. Let's say that conference is a weekend, a Friday, Saturday, they check out Sunday. You need 1,000 room nights. You need 1,000 nights over that 3-day, that weekend, where people have rented a room in Alexandria for GAEDA to get their 10,000 back. Now, this is what I was saying earlier about the fallacy of Mr. Callis' economic analysis, because I've done that for 28 years for major corporations. We know if we live here, we know we don't have very many events that come in here, and there's 1,000 room nights occupancy in one weekend. We know that. So every time GAEDA does that, it's a losing proposition. They're not getting their money back. Mr. Cal is talking about the financial analysis of GAEDA over the years. Well, you've been doing the wrong thing. Yeah, that's the revenue stream for GAEDA because that's the way the state set it up. The state legislature didn't give them the authority to leverage a property tax. They didn't give them the authority to leverage a fee or something like that. They gave them a sales tax only on hotel motel. And they limited it, cannot exceed 4%. That's their revenue stream. That's the only money that comes to them unless they can generate something with that money that'll bring in another revenue stream. And that's where the fallacy is. That's where the sin of omission occurred. Because if you want to talk about how they've been losing money or they hadn't done what they could with the money, that's because that fallacy was there to put money in the pockets of the hotel motel. They are simply the vehicle. They collect that for you. And here's the beauty of GAEDA. Unless we who live here stay in a hotel room,
We're not paying. It's the folks that come in from out of town. And so even when there's not an event, there's not a convention, there's not a conference, there's not a concert, there's not a rodeo. Anybody stay in a hotel, GAEDA still get members. So you got to take what Callis did when he brings something. All right. And of course, if you don't know this, you might accept what's being proposed to you. I'm here to tell you otherwise.
Mr. Corey, would you be all interested in taking one question?
Absolutely. Unlike you, I'll be able to answer
Limit, if you're very liberal, let's try to wrap this one up.
Okay, I will, and in all fairness, I've overstayed my welcome, but let me wrap this up. So, in the way this has transpired, you had the mayor first sending his people over to try and derail it. Then, when that didn't work, he went to the city council, had them change the rules where a GAEDA person is no longer there for a 4-year term. And you can change them out at will. You can change them like you change underwear, if some of you change. The thing is, once they did that, they put the persons on there who were a clone of them, a direct mirror image of them. And when they went on here, just like was pointed out before, this is not something they came up with 2 days later, when they intentionally boycotted the regular scheduled meeting. And by the way, that's what this has been. Okay, this has been an organized boycott of the regularly scheduled meeting, so they would be handcuffed and would not have enough people to have a quorum to transact business. And then they went around it by calling special meetings, and set their own agenda. Okay, there was no interest in trying to work with GAEDA or to help GAEDA help the community. That was from the onset. That was from the very beginning. That was the goal. This did not come up overnight. This has been in the works a long time. So I want folks to recognize that. And so that has led us here. And so here, the end goal, the end point of all of this is to shut GAEDA down. Because we don't want a strong black woman there. We don't want an experienced black woman running this. We don't want them starting to direct the money into the black communities so that the black communities can start to lift themselves.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Please find me.
I'm gonna speak because I noticed on the agenda that there's no place for executive director because you all, some of you do not recognize me as that, and that's fine. To my family and friends and members of the public, I'm so thankful for the time, effort, and especially your prayers that you have given towards GAEDA and me personally. You have fought the good fight. The godly wisdom and advice that you have shared with me will forever be with me as I continue my journey. You see, it matters not what they say. It matters what God says. And He says it ain't over. To the commissioners, I've said before that my leadership style is that of a servant leader, which particularly in women, that approach is often underestimated. Some, particularly in the political arena, prefer flamboyance, a man. And I keep hearing that they don't want me to run GAEDA, but even when Mr. Bowler was there, I ran. I was there when they put the paint on the wall, when they cut the holes in the wall to make offices, picked out the furniture. I know where everything is there, and I just don't know. I've been called just a secretary.
Okay, now.
Wow, that's not an insult, because that's really the backbone of the company. But I've been doing more than secretarial work, which is recognized by the 2 merits that some of you approved for me. It's hard to look at some of you, especially that I've worked with for so long, and to be sitting here at this point. It was like Mr. Moeller went down.
Be strong. You can take it.
Mr. Moeller went down, called me and told me to get the mayor on the phone and some others to let them know what happened to him. We set a time. For them to talk. He didn't answer. So every time I went to see Mr. Moeller, he would say, the mayor calling yet? Or what's Mr. Carroll doing? Mr. Patel? None of you will come see. None of them. See, it's personal for me. Because at the end of the day, when y'all's term is over, you volunteer. This is my career. That you're tearing up. My career, my finance. This is what you're doing. Based off, Mr. Upton, you know what I do at there. I helped you along the way when you were legal counsel. Your legal bills have constantly conference with Angie, telephone, emails for Angie, email. My mind is blown that you're the author of this. Ms. McAllis, when you came on board, you asked me questions. I gave you documents. You attacked a man that had been working for 20 years. You attacked his record. They brought him in at a salary. I mean, I guess you live in this community. Why all of a sudden you see GAEDA in financial ruin? Especially when we've had 19 clean audits. The auditors are even amazing. Even though some say, well, that doesn't matter. We're not looking for anything wrong. If we had unclean, it would be a different conversation going on. And forgive me if I go over my 3 minutes, but I think I've earned it. I am, I'm not a flamboyant leader, and I don't want to be. And quite frankly, that's GAEDA's loss and some other organizations gain. I've enjoyed an ethical and professional relationship with the constituents, stakeholders, and partners that I serve, and vigorously defend my work with facts, not feelings or opinions. I have written several facts to prove to you what I've done, who I am, but then God stepped in. Those who know me know. Those that dislike me know, but you were put here for the sole purpose of a hostile takeover. You're going to do what you want to do regardless of my track record. So why waste the energy? You got your 4 votes. So I'll be an eagle, not a crow. So I'll fly higher. Thank you, Candy Christopher, for those votes. Because, you know, the message when he said an eagle flies high, a crow will get up behind him and just pester. But the eagle just goes higher. So I'll go high. I've been, I said this already, while the role, I'm sorry, a 2-person team over 20 years, you would have to hire 4 people to do the job that I've been doing at GAEDA. I know this because Mr. Moeller constantly would tell me, we can outsource or get a secretary. I've been doing it alone until we brought it on, and I want to thank you for coming in. Like Mr. Johnson said, I didn't know it was going to be like this. I was enthusiastic at the first meeting that we had, thinking that I even put together the grant, you know, revising the grant, like Mr. Cowles asked, sent that out. But when emails go unanswered, when it has to do with GAEDA business, your role as a chair sent you accounting data to sign off on, ignored it. Wouldn't even respond to it. No, only Dr. Lewis, Ms. Katz, and Mr. Morgan have reached out and been there signing checks, doing what they have to do, doing the role of a commissioner. You used to tell me when you weren't gonna be at a meeting. All of a sudden, I came to a screeching halt.
Speak.
How long have you been on the board? 9 years? 13 that we worked together. 2013. Yeah. And I asked you, did you support me? And you said, I support you. This don't feel like support.
It's not.
What you all are doing, controlling the agenda is alarming. Operating in this environment cannot be sustained. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. GAEDA, as a public body, is entrusted with public money for an express purpose, which is defined in enabling legislation. Commissioners are further entrusted to use and distribute that money for the stated purpose and in a transparent and accountable way. If GAEDA loses the public's trust, it's game over. Thank you for allowing me to speak, and I promise you will definitely see me in November. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
With a following. And it won't be for revenge. It'll be a reckoning. Thank you.
All right, do we have any? Look, there's a 3-minute limit. We can build.
Mitchell Davidson, activist in the community. Able to turn on Greg Upton, Jim Lamar, Christian Tim, as it fell to John Collins, Chuck Fowler, John Kelly. Guys, we're here to do a job. And I know the media, you guys is told not to put me on up front because it's a political thing. Because y'all know I'm engaged. Because I lost my own money trying to change what's going on now. The money that was given to the preachers, the churches, to not support what we need. We now don't have Greyhound. We don't have a Boys and Girls Club. We don't have community centers that are open. We don't have Little League Baseball in the city that you grew up on, Brother Curtis, for our Black inner city kids. And we have a divided city and council because we don't have somebody there up top that cares about the people. Poverty is attacking our city every day. People are struggling to pay their utility bills. I sat down with a grandmother yesterday and looked at her utility bills and her rent compared to what her Social Security check is. Yeah, this is about gain. Because the reality is that when I did my research, my team is growing. Meet with them tomorrow. I realized that some of them was opposed to me being here today because they felt like GAEDA wasn't doing enough to help the Black community. Well, one thing I do promise you, I promise you this, is that these people at some point are going to change. And when they change, this group is going to change and you're going to be remembered for what you did today. Man, I'm ashamed. Ashamed. I know a lot of potatoes working with Orkin for years as a region manager and pest control. You know, I met a lot of potatoes. Man, they would be ashamed because they support minority, economic growth for those that are oppressed. Because where you come from is an oppressed place. Yeah. Hell, man, you stood with that woman. You fought with her. You worked with her, walked with her. You let job change you. These people were brought on to do what they're doing, man. And you guys fell in line. Make your own today. I doubt it. I doubt it that you have
Please don't.
I doubted that you have what it takes to the man that's looking down now to say, I'm just not going to do this. I'm going to stand on my own and fight it. Because the people are going to remember those who did what they're supposed to do. And I promise you, that voting is so important. Every preacher, register people to vote. Deal with those young people on voting issues, man. Man, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to change this city. I'm from New Orleans. People tell me to come home all the time. But I stay here fighting, putting my time and my money and my business investments into this city. And I care enough to let's change it. Because November's coming quick and we need to get rid of this foolishness. Take our city back. That's 3 minutes, right? Stop.
Jay Scott. It's hard for me to get up and speak because I know what's the plans are. I want to go back to the beginning of this when I first went to office. Okay, I'm gonna be able to get back.
All right.
I was told I couldn't. It was John Jay.
Right, Jay.
I said, "Wait a minute." I had to pay.
Get through it.
I had to pay to stay on me.
You have to know.
Man, I did 5 years in the federal penitentiary. And I was changing what I done. I was a drug lord. I was a criminal. But that was me. But I was a boy then. Now I'm a man.
All right, all right.
My dad was controlling his town. He did it work for black people, white people. He did everything right. And I wanted to fight and be like him. So when I came to prison, I said, I'm gonna be like my dad. And look what happened. Now I'm the leader. The same, they put me in prison. Now I'm taking salary. The same people that hurt me. Now they fight me. Because they see I'm doing right by the people. I don't care about nothing else about giving me nothing. I got my own money. My car, just I got your back, shook my hand. What you need, young man? So I don't need nothing from you. So I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna get it for myself. I clean the house, I work my butt off. Because I want to be great. I live in Charles Park, $300,000 house that I worked for. Get what happened? I went broke and I gave it away. But I say, Jay, you'll come back one day later on stronger. Live regular. Be humble. I ride the city bus because I think that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because those people just like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feed the homeless because that's what I'm supposed to do. I ran a little league baseball. I've been there 20 years. The day I walked out of prison, I gave my life to those kids because I know what's right. Because nobody gave it to me but my dad. And he was in a wheelchair, and everybody knows this.
Yeah.
The only man in a wheelchair that could ride around this town, I swear to God, I thought he had 2 legs. He thought he had 2 legs, and you couldn't tell. When he talked to me, he was strong. He made me stronger. He said, son, when you come out of prison, you're going to be a better man, I promise you. When I came home, I became a better man. I became a man. So guess what I want to say to y'all? One of y'all will come in because you're hurting the people. Y'all don't want to speak. You want to talk about your restaurant. Man, we don't care about it. There's no restaurants. We already full and fat around right here. We already big. We don't need no restaurants. But tell you on the McDonald's, I watch you. You're a strong man. You know what I'm saying? You're on the McDonald's, you're on the hotels. Thank God, I want to be there too one day. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take time, though. But I ain't the wrong way to get there. I promise you. Dr. Boy, you know he's sitting behind the table. He wants you to kiss ring. We ain't kissing no rings on, boy. That's what we're not doing. You know, I look at my jurors, my presidential bishop. He brought me to the table, me not knowing Me not knowing that I'm gonna make a choice for the people. Then you call, let's come on the base. I set the table. That elected official, I think 2 years. He said, just got, we're gonna do not no tax for these people to come to bring for the people, not for the police jury to make money, for the people. As Joe Bishop was the president of police jury, you know what I'm saying? I got issue with that man right now. But he thought about the people. He brought me to the table for the people. And I said, yes, let's do it for the people. We don't need the money. Millions of dollars for the city of Alexandria and Rapids Parish. We just want to get people the money and help people grow the jobs. Major jobs. Black people making over $65,000 starting out. The college bringing in people to teach us how to do the job. That's amazing in this town, small town called Alexandria. Rapids Parish is Roman, but Alexandria spelled it. We dying. My black kids sitting around here, man, they hurt. Basically, I did it 20 years again, helping these kids not go to prison. I go to the schools, I coach at the school, I work for the schools, helping out, giving my time, my own personal money. If y'all know we don't get no money, am I right, Mr. Martin? And like the official ain't no money, y'all, that was $1,600 ain't no money. Watch how you pay tax insurance. You know, I fixed the little one leg I got, I had to fix that all the time, so you know, hey, ain't no money. I come up about $900 a month, ain't no money. So why would I take a piece of chicken from the public to put me in prison? Because I know it's a trick. It's a trick for us black folks. You take $1, you're going down for that dollar. Because I owe you not control me. When we start this group, I'm gonna say, raise with my partner. I was out mad when he picked Miss Paul. I was highly upset because that wasn't a plan. That wasn't a process. The process was to pick some of our partners, the one voice, so we can take control of the time. See, I'm transparent. I can't lie. Was I for Mr. Porter at the time? No, I wasn't. But I told Mr. Porter, you're the strongest black man I know this time.
All right.
You're smart and intelligent. I want to like you, sir. And could you sit at the table and teach me some things? Because I didn't know that. I still don't know everything, but I'm learning day by day. But I can't look in y'all's face and tell y'all I learned something from y'all because you know what? You're against me. You're against my black children. You're against these beautiful black women.
Speak.
Never saw it before in my life. I want to be a secretary. You heard what I said? I want to be a secretary. I want to be a lawyer. What do our kids want next? Every time we look at y'all, these preachers, I thank God they're here. Do I care for them? No. They know why. I'm honest. I don't go to church for votes. Have I been in one of y'all church for vote? No. I don't want no vote from the church. But I ain't gonna tell your church after I leave them. Right. Because God said do what's right by the people. Now I'm glad we're together as one. And we're gonna show y'all you don't believe those. I promise you that. I promise you. And I want to tell y'all what we gonna do. They ain't made their focus up, you already ready. What we gonna do?
All right.
As black and white people, because I know if y'all white people don't understand, they control the pay the lights on in the museums where your children go to. They control all the goods around this town. It helps us survive, economically better. And this is what we want to do. So to the black people and the white, I hope they didn't race. I think that's what it sounds racist. I say black and white. But I pray that we do what's right by the people. I thank you, Mr. Martin, for leading the show. We all gonna walk the walk, talk the talk. Strong black man, wow. Man, thank you. I'm gonna tell you thank you. If I never told you thank you. Because I watch. I go back and watch all your meetings to learn so I won't make the same no mistakes and be better than him. I watch Mr. Porter. I watch some of the preachers that speak. I watch this guy running for big state representatives and stuff like that because I want to go to the next level. So the politics is not a politics. It's politicking. Y'all trying to trick us. Millionaire, I don't know what you is. He ain't. But Ms. Paula, thank you.
Yeah.
Reddix, you changed stuff that we was trying to build.
Yeah.
And you still picked a good pick
Yeah.
because she gave to the black children.
Yeah.
You still gave a good bid. But we made a mistake because we thought Jock was your friend. Jock was your friend.
Say it loud.
Yeah, you want to shake my hand, when you bring up the campaign, Jay Scott, I need you, brother, you don't need me. You want me to help you with the black votes, because I'm in the streets in the community. But remember who I used to be, I still know those people. I never left the streets, I just stopped hustling. I hustle politic way now. So again, let's learn from our mistakes. And for your 3 minutes, you don't control us.
I just want to be last. I want to be last. I just want to make sure that everyone here is clear on the fact that this is a plan. You see, the motion that's before this body, it's very clever, Mr. Upton. It's very clever. It's a plan. We can plan to do whatever, right? The plan has a timeline on when it will take place. We had so many individuals appear at the meeting the other day, only to be met with empty chairs to take care of the business of this community.
Absolutely.
However, no one was there for whatever reason. And I'm sure they had a reason, whatever that may have been. But special call meeting after special call meeting after special call meeting after special call meeting after special call meeting. To not handle the business, but to nullify, void, declare null, terminate. What hasn't been mentioned is that in 2 weeks, this organization was sued by none other than Lizzie Felcher's appointment, Mr. Callis. We're set to go to court. But before that can even happen, to hear an answer as to whether or not her appointment was legally done, which we all know it was. I don't think anybody, no matter what you have said, we all know it was. But that wasn't the issue. It's not whether or not it was illegally done, it was whether or not they wanted to be done.
Right, right.
So before that happens, we have this extensive motion on a plan to liquidate GAEDA. When I answered the lawsuit, because I stand on my legal advice to this board and every other board I represent, as well as my thousands of clients that I've had over my 20 years. When I answered the lawsuit, the next special call meeting was, guess what? To terminate me. Callis, who filed the lawsuit. Of course, you don't want the lawyer, right?
Right.
To go to court and represent you against yourself. He was allowed to vote. Upton, who's our previous counsel, voted to terminate my contract. Mr. Carroll, who I've worked with for 6 years, voted to terminate my contract. Mr. Patel, who I like, voted to terminate my contract. And here we are. The special call meetings that were called to appoint Callis and Upton. No, this is all not by happenstance. This didn't happen just because, right? The fact of the matter is, we are where we are. And if you look at the statute on how they can dissolve, it has to be sent over
to a local municipal body, as you've heard, which is of course the city. We have Mr. Rubin in this room, who's been to several of our meetings. You've heard the, Jacques Roy state, he wasn't in, and he was objected to this. He strongly opposed it. We don't see him here saying he opposed it. No. He's not in the room. Does he strongly oppose it?
No.
I can assure you, Myron Lawson has a lot more to do on a day-to-day basis, being the president of a board for Southern University, who stopped what he was doing to make sure his business, I'm sure he's upstairs. If he opposed it. Mr. Rubin, if you oppose it, the same way you called a special meeting to appoint him,
No.
Absolutely.
Ms. Angie, I haven't worked with you as long as Mr. Carroll. I haven't worked with you as long as Mr. Moore. And I know the disrespect and the nastiness and all the things that the people in this room don't know that you have to endure, and you stay strong. You have. And I want to see you smile more. I do, because you and I both know how this ends. We know how this ends. So you stand strong, because man, these 4 votes that we know is gonna come, we know it. It's not going to be what you think it is. You know what it is. I have enjoyed working for you. I have enjoyed working with you. And until recently, until these last 75 days, I enjoyed working for this board, but this board has turned into a very dark, nasty, disruptive, chaotic environment. And I heard you say, Mr. Carroll, this has gotten too toxic. But I guess we're to blame for that, right?
Yeah.
You know, I heard your beautiful wife the other day. I've never met her before. And I heard her say, and as well she should have, you know, she's taking up for her man.
Yeah.
I had one I do to say, stop what you're doing. You're disparaging him. Well, I wanted to say to her in a respectful way, because I don't know her. And if she's a part of you, I'm sure I would like her as well. What do you think happened to me when you voted to terminate? This is my career, right? When you know I was right on the legal advice. And I leave this with you. If I wasn't right, Mr. Carroll, when I showed you the statute, when I highlighted it in yellow for you to read that it wasn't a legal holiday, you told me you went and Googled it yourself. I gave you the revised statute that was written by Mr. Marvin Daniel Brown, a legislature, but you had to go Google it yourself. When I gave you the statute. Do you know the level of disrespect that was? Outrageous. But that's okay. It's okay. The city of Baton Rouge, I'm sure Mr. Callis, who's on his phone right now, same disrespect, outrageous. The same lawsuit that he filed against GAEDA for operating wrong and saying it was, he didn't file a lawsuit against the city of Baton Rouge. Guess what? Their council met that day, the same day. So if it's illegal, it's not just illegal for GAEDA, it's illegal for New Orleans, city of New Orleans. Guess what day they had their council meeting? Just take a guess. I leave this with you all. Myron Lawson, I thank you. I know this has been rough for you because you started this. This is just a plan to liquidate GAEDA. That means that the vote today may start the process, but it does not end it today. So we know how beneficial this organization is to not only our community, but everyone who lives here. They have work to do. Thank you.
I'm like,
I heard everything everybody said, and some of the things I agree with, some of them don't. And my problem is because I'm an activist, and I'm about people, I'm not about nothing else, I'm about my people. And I've always said that, and I've always been that way. I start coming to these city council meetings, I'm talking council for right now, because you gotta understand, there is a deep connection with this. And I've been watching your mayor, and he was in here the last time, since 2010, 2008, I started coming to these meetings. And I watched Mayor Roy. So I know his personality, whether you don't think I do, but I do, because I study people. And some of y'all are a total one, it's not just Lee Rubin, y'all a total reflection of something that he would do. When we had the housing, we were still on Housing Alliance. And we didn't have an Alexandria Housing Authority board because your mayor disbanded it. People stopped coming to the meetings. So people were not getting paid because they were in the process of fixing housing. We got together with Washington, D.C. and sat down and had to make him put together so that these people, these contractors could get paid. So what I'm looking at, I'm not looking at GAEDA. I'm looking at Jock Roy. Because Jock Roy's behind it. And you guys, please do not. Sometimes I get angry with our black folks because y'all do not get it. We sit here and we begging and pleading and praying. These people's hearts are not like our hearts. That's one thing about black people that we have a weakness for. We let people walk over us, we let people mistreat us, and all we want to do is forgive them. And our situations never change. Never change until we hit them in the pockets. Because they don't understand nothing but blood, war, and money. And the idea that we have an educated black woman who wanted to run for, have y'all checked what all the executive directors at Rad Peace Foundation gets paid?
Yeah.
The Alexandria Tourism Bureau, have y'all checked their salaries? That are majority of white. Majority of those organizations, they don't have a black director in there. Your Chamber of Commerce, how much does the Chamber of Commerce as executive director gets paid? That is also white. We can't see it no other way. I understand we want to get together and work together, y'all. It ain't working in Alexandria in years. Why do you think you guys are where we at? Our crime rate is high. We beg for cameras to be put in the right places. Nobody wants to do that. Why? Because crime pays. I can build a new prison. I can spend millions on prison. Because that's important. Money is important. Her salary is not a problem. It's just that they don't want her to have it. If it was a white person going for that, you think we would be here? You think they would be trying to dissolve this? Whether it was a white male or female? No, they wouldn't be trying to dissolve it. This is a reflection of your good old mayor. He pretends like yesterday he did a news briefing. And he did it after Mr. Porter, we did our show and we explained what GAEDA, the history of GAEDA and everything. Then he gets up there and says, oh, my hands are not in, I don't know what you're talking about, I didn't do. In other words, yes, your hand's behind me. Your hand's behind me because Callis lives in his district and so does Lizzie. You don't think they sitting down and had no conversation to get him on board? Y'all don't think there was no backroom conversation or you hang at my house and drink a beer and talk about it? Y'all don't think that happened? Why do you think they fooled Washington? We gotta get better with our chemical boy. We fooled Washington to do the doggone revision on the ordinance to quickly move these people around. It wasn't nothing wrong with Miss Cheney doing her job. Wasn't nothing wrong with Miss Tracy doing her job. I always thought when you're not doing your job, you get relief. That's what I always thought. I never knew that you just can get, if you're not doing the job, then you need to go. And the thing is, Ms. Cheney was gonna be up in November anyway, because it was time for Ruben to go. So what was the haste if this was not already planned out? When Mr. Moeller got ill, it went into action. That's when it went into action. Jock had a long-standing relationship with Mr. Moeller for years. I don't know what happened, but Jock couldn't wait. That's how he works. You got to understand. Y'all stood up and shake his hand and smile in his face. I know him from a
Nervous.
The way I watch him, I don't see him like that. I don't take that. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in smiling in people's face and shaking their hands when they are oppressing my people. I have an issue with that. I remember when I went to the first GAEDA meeting. The second one was a retreat. Somebody mentioned a retreat. Guess who didn't show up at the retreat, y'all? You want me to tell you who didn't come? The same ones who's voting to get rid of this, that's who didn't show up. The same ones who's sitting here. We gotta stop this, or we gotta come together. It's not working, y'all. You need to hold hands with each other. Come together as a collective, because they don't care. You think this is moving them, us coming up here and telling them? They're not moved by what we're saying, because the mind is already made up. You can see it in their faces.
That's right.
Because we can read body language. And we're very good at communication, because I think they think Black folks are not intelligent. We're very intelligent. We're highly intelligent. We're geniuses sitting in here. So quit underestimating our power. Quit underestimating us. You might see us fighting against each other, but at the end of the day, we know how to be collective. Like y'all do when y'all have y'all backdoor meetings and doing all this, what you're doing now, we know how to do that too. When y'all get mad enough, when y'all get pissed off enough, y'all gonna start making them look silly. And some of you Black folk, and I'm saying this, you don't know me, but I'm saying because I've been watching y'all too. Some of you hee-haw, laughing, joking, taking from the same people who are hurting us. I have no respect for you. I'm telling you from my heart, because I believe in my people. I believe in my people, and I hate when they're being treated wrong, and I hate when we be the oppressor. So we got to change our attitude and how we see things. Because all the praying in the world is still, look where we at.
Come on.
We got 1,000 churches around here, and our kids are going to jail at a high rate. Why? Because we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So again, this right here, this is not just them. It's not just Lee Rubin. It's your mate. And come 2026, somebody with the right sense, with a city that's majority Black, I want you guys to take a minute. And when you get home, go look up the disparity study for Alexandria. It's on their website. The problem with Alexandria in economic development is race and gender. I'm done. Thank you.
We'll close public comment, move on with the agenda.
May I speak?
Yeah, please.
Okay, Barn. I'm not from Alexandria, but I'm from Alexandria. I've been here for 46 years now. And I'm really, really concerned with what I'm hearing in this room. I've been to more city council meetings than most city council members. That's not a good thing, because you always need to watch your government at work. Or your government working needs to know that you're watching. Right? If we're not happy with what GAEDA has been doing, if that's what I'm hearing, if we're not happy with the economic development, then fix it. Don't throw it away. Fix it. Okay? I'm one of the founding members of Louisiana Central. Louisiana Central, we created that 5 guys and women got together in a back room and said, we weren't happy with what government was doing. There were 14 economic development agencies in this community, and none of them were doing anything because we're dying. Alexandria's not booming, we're dying. We're not even surviving, we're dying. This doesn't help at all, at all. Economic development is 2 things: bringing outside dollars, other people's green dollars into our community so we can have a better quality of life. But nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to Alexandria when they see that we don't have a good quality of life. So unfortunately, and oh, by the way, I was in the room with Myron Lawson and Charlie DeWitt when this was created. And it was created off of the back of the Heart of Spain. 81,000 people came to Alexandria. $12 million economic impact from people that came from outside of the parish to come here. People came from every state, every district, and 12 foreign countries to visit this art exhibit in this little podunk town. And everybody said, why Alexandria? And it was full of naysayers. We need to quit fighting. We need to come together. And if we believe this organization isn't doing what it was designed to do, then fix it. Don't kill it. Fix it. Get the right people on the board. Right? I've bugged and bugged and bugged Jacques to be on the England Authority. I think the England Authority in the past has not done what it needed to do. Right? I want to make a change. I'm not a complainer. I'm a doer. I'm a fixer. Step up. Put your money where your mouth is. I happen to be, unfortunately, the largest landowner in downtown Alexandria. Unfortunately, I paid off my mortgage because 20 years, nothing has happened. And it's still on that. Why did I buy it? Because it was the gateway to downtown Alexandria, and it was an embarrassment. It was crack houses, it was whore houses, it was trash houses. And now it's just in this green space and we're waiting for something to happen. Right? I'm on Louisiana Central. I don't always agree with the things that they do. I think we spend a lot more time with local things of the quality of life. Guess what? I keep getting reminded, it's not about bringing companies into town. They're not coming if we don't have quality of life. They're not going to come. Right? We've got a few that are coming. They're looking. And if we disband this organization and we're sitting on a powder keg, we're sitting on a powder keg, right? And no one with any responsibility in this room should vote to dissolve this and have this powder keg go nuclear. Right, thank you.
Absolutely.
3 minutes?
Three times 3, but that's okay. All right, let's, yes,
I have a few things I would like to say, please.
well, let's get the motions, see where the motions go, and then we'll have comments by the commission. Sure. All right, the first motion is to consider hiring a liquidated attorney on fair. Why not shut down, terminate the fairs and operations, and close GAEDA's office. Yes, sir.
Respectfully, I'd like to submit a substitute motion.
Okay. Let me do that. Let me finish this. I'll also move the motion I just read and have a second, and then we'll take up the substitute. I make the motion, number 1 on C1 on the agenda. I make that motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Point of order, you can't make a motion. Yes, point of order. You can't make a motion.
Yes, I'm just being, okay.
Point of order. It's not discussion.
A motion and a second. A motion and a second. Let's see what the substitute.
Did you make the motion, Mr. Upton?
Yes, I did.
That's illegal.
No, it isn't. Okay.
Okay, go ahead and do it then. Carry it out then. Carry it out and see.
Thank you. I promise you, standing is here. Okay.
I promise you.
Mr. Patel has offered a substitute motion. Let me read it.
So your motion you made though, let the record reflect, you made.
Yeah, no,
Okay, you made it as chairman.
yeah,
Okay, good.
Well, let me ask you this, do I have?
No one's made you second. Carry on.
Let's get it done. Sir, public comments, it's over. Let's.
I call it order. That's the order of business.
That's the problem right here.
That's a point of order. You keep doing your job.
Meeting law.
It's a point of order, you're violating Robert's rule of order. Margaret Mead, despite what you think, I know who Margaret Mead is, and I know the rules. You're violating Robert's rule of order. Where's the attorney, by the way? Stop now.
All right, stuff.
Did you know that?
Mr. Patel
That's the problem.
appears
There's no motion on
to
the.
take the motion and gut all the and just provide for some administrative provisions to be done. So let me read the motion.
I'd like to speak on
Let me, oh, okay. I was gonna read the motion. You don't need to speak for him. You've been speaking for everybody all this time. Give me the. Let me, okay, go ahead.
I'm respectfully requesting, once the motion is read, I have an opportunity to just say a few words.
Sure, oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm gonna read the motion. See, he's gonna make the motion, we'll have a second, and then we'll have comments here. Motion is, it's only 5 sentences, it says to hire Barbara Melton as a temporary, on a temporary basis as attorney for GAEDA. Ms. Melton, as GAEDA's attorney, shall assume responsibility for all legal affairs currently pending or involving GAEDA, and shall assume responsibility for all legal matters which may arise in the future. Ms. Melton shall be paid the same hourly rate as the previous contract attorney, however, only during the, what's that, temporary appointment?
Only during the.
Okay, that's, okay. The chairperson and Commissioner John Callis acting together are authorized to approve the payment of all future legal invoices submitted to GAEDA, and sign all checks and authorize any electronic transactions necessary for the payment of such legal invoices. To approve the minutes of the April 5th, 2024 special commission meeting held at the hotel building, and approve the minutes of the April 25th, 2024 special commission meeting held at hotel building, Rockledge. That's the motion. It appears he has gutted all the liquidation language. Is that in? You made the motion, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second on the motion?
I want to hear what he has to say.
Okay.
I'll get a second the motion.
All right, well, let's second, and then you can please speak.
Wait, before you can get public comment.
No, we're not in public comment now. We're in comments from the commission.
Okay, well, I'll stand here until he's finished, and then I will make a comment, whether you want to hear it or not.
Well, I'm sure you will. Okay.
And take it to the last turn, so.
Okay, so, Mr. Patel, please speak on the motion.
There's, I'm seeing both sides of this. As far as voting it versus remedying it, I do believe that the decision is a little haste, respectfully speaking. I think that we did not exhaust all of our possible options or other permutations that we could have had. I think there may be viability to, at least with some time, try to have some conversations. Maybe invite Mr. Myron Lawson to our meetings and help him or help us put this thing in line. Invite the city council, invite the city, come to the table, and why can't this become one? And I'm telling you, please don't construe that with my fiscal responsibility, okay? I'm here for fiscal responsibility solely. I am not here for the social side of this, okay? I'm a numbers guy, and that's how I'm going to think. Ms. Bernardo knows this. I was brought onto this board by Mr. Moeller personally, okay, for this reason. Callis, Upton, Harold, I'm respectfully asking you guys to consider my motion and at least buy us some time, okay? If what I'm proposing, and I'm willing to serve as a proxy between and amongst the groups. If and when my proposal seems to be hitting the dead end, I will come back to this table, and I will vote for your motion. Please kindly consider my motion on the table.
All right, so right now we have the motion on the table. We have a second.
I did second. I wanted to
Mr.
hear what you
Downs,
say.
we had comments from the person that made the motion. And I'll open up the comments to the other commissioners.
I have a comment. You put me, if I hadn't looked at this thing, you put me, explain to the check writing thing that you're asking me to do, there's something wrong.
Oh, yeah, that.
You're asking me to do something.
Authorized to approve the payment of all future legal invoices and sign all checks.
So this was, essentially, I didn't try to amend much further. I just wanted to take the liquidation off, and it was more of an olive branch, like, hey, look, this is what you want to do, fine. I'm willing to let go of a lot of that, it's just okay with me. But the liquidation part of it is really what I was concerned about, because I think it's a little haste.
So are you just asking to make her our attorney in general? Is that what we're asking? So we can discuss going forward? Just want to be clear.
To move this organization forward, every other agenda item, I'm okay with.
Therefore, this one, you're asking for Barbara Milton for us to bring her on as attorney, minus all of this other stuff. Is that what we're saying? What are you-
Barbara Milton as temporary, it didn't seem like it was temporary from the original motion.
Because it's not.
Because it's, so you're just asking to bring her on?
I'm saying temporary, hey, if it works out, then that's fine, we'll have a conversation about it. But if not, it's it, right?
What's wrong with attorney?
The motion on the floor is the four items that are before the commission now.
No, he's just doing the first.
No, these are all one motion, all one, they're all one motion.
So,
You have,
You gonna pay for the same.
a vice chair and a secretary.
yeah, I was going to ask you what,
Why would you put Mr. Callis on sign checks without rules and procedures, which you refer to often, already states who signs checks? Why would you jump over your vice chair and your secretary without procedures of signing checks?
Essentially, here's what we have a motion on the floor. No, we're gonna do it procedurally fine.
we need information. We're asking for
We
information.
have a substitute motion on the
We're
floor.
asking for further information.
And we're gonna get to discussion. We have a substitute motion that has been moved and second.
Well, he
Now,
hasn't
the
even
question-
finished what he was saying. He has not
question
finished.
Before us now.
He has not, Mr. Patel has not
We're
finished.
gonna proceed with the
Mr. Patel did
substitute
not
motion.
finish saying what he was saying, so we can have all the information. Can you finish explaining, so we can have thorough information on what you're saying?
What your
And then
secretary
we can
motion
get to,
is.
because you're saying you're taking out, you're a lot of that, because that's what we're trying to get.
I didn't hear a motion to remove all that.
That's why we're asking for clarification.
Well, let's see.
But you stopped saying. Go ahead, can you explain it so we can get to
Really see what the problem is. Be quiet, everybody.
Look, we have a motion. Substitute motion with a second. We're in discussion now.
That's right.
If any commissioner wants to discuss, please discuss. In an orderly manner where you're not talking about it.
He's still discussing, that's what I'm saying.
Well, let him talk if he's.
Well, you stopped, you stopped it. You the one that stopped it. Please explain it. Can you please explain it so we can get it? Thank you.
My objective here is to take this banding, get it off the table. Okay? I want to make that very clear. That's number one. Number two is Barbara Melton, according to the original motion, it looked like it was a permanent placement. But I'm asking to consider a temporary placement. And that's it, everything else stays the same.
But she's a liquidating attorney, so.
How you gonna make some?
Well, I explained it in the motion.
Let me read the motion.
Can I see?
The motion says it's to hire Barbara Hamilton on a temporary basis as the attorney for GAEDA.
Okay.
What Mr. Patel did from looking at it, he essentially gutted all the liquidating language and kept Ms. Melton on as attorney, provided for her fees and payments, and approved the minutes of 2 meetings. All the liquidating stuff is gone. So it seems like he's giving you what you asked for. Sure, come.
Okay, I'm concerned, I'm very concerned about approving the chairperson and the commissioner, Mr. Powers, to be the bill payers. He does not show up for staff meetings. He does not go to the bank and sign the authorization to sign checks. I'm very uncomfortable. He directed our executive director to not pay Ms. Sanders for services rendered.
Wow.
He directed her to do that. I am not comfortable with him being in charge of paying anything.
Again,
But the rules specifically states, first of all, how are you asking somebody else outside the officers to step in to sign
Sign
checks?
checks.
Let's start there. And I need an answer so we can make a
Well,
decision.
if you agree to the rules say it can be an officer or a commissioner or any deputy.
Well, let me check. Why are you asking him versus two other officers?
it
I'm
doesn't.
not asking them anything. This is.
No,
You
you
wrote this,
were-
and you wrote Mr. Callis in here, so you are asking me.
under the rules.
The rules say the chair, the secretary treasurer is the one who should sign it, the executive director. And if it's over 5,000, then secretary treasurer, chair, or vice chair. You have to know the procedure. You have to tell us. That's what the rules say. You have.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Mr. Patel, are you wanted to take out the other information, because that has to do with liquidation also. So
No, the other one took out.
that's what I'm saying, this part right here has to do with liquidation.
Whenever you get this copy, you'll see that the liquidation, I'm not noticing.
Okay.
The substitute.
Okay, so
motion
that doesn't-
Has nothing, it takes out every reference to
That's what
liquidation.
I'm making sure.
That's what it does.
So can I have the piece of paper so I can put it in?
So does it also take out the authorized to approve and authorize for payment of invoices by you and Mr. Callis? Does it take that out
No,
also?
it did not take
It's
that.
good that I have to put it in. That has liquidation. That's it. It's not going to take that out of you and Mr. Callis. For the payment of such legal invoices. Why? When the legal, always came to the office through the executive director.
Mayor, just please.
And then
Okay, let him finish.
You got your last time to talk to me like that.
Number three, you gotta learn how to respect women. Number three, to approve the minutes, that goes on to approve the minutes of the special.
I can't calm down, you're gonna mention that black women, like say we want, like you would want them to.
Number three, to approve the minutes of the April 5th, 2024 special commission meeting held at the Hotel Bentley. And then to approve the minutes of the April 25th special commission meeting held. So those are fine, but the only thing is the number two goes against.
I'll give you the rest of those people. The motion, just help me with.
The liquidating part you took totally out. When you have the chairperson and Commissioner Callis, you already have check signers. Right, but you already have check signers, so can you amend your, can you amend your, can you I mean, I haven't said anything yet. Can you do a motion without number two, because we already have check signers? And that's our rules, policies and procedures. Why would you make a motion to take that
And
out?
one more amendment too.
Well, look, before we
What,
begin,
what,
we have to-
he asked, I asked him a question and he's trying to answer.
And Mr. Chair, I'm telling you procedurally. We
Yes,
have
you want me to
we
correct?
have we have a motion on the floor to liquidate. We have a substitute motion on the floor to replace the motion to liquidate. So now we need to decide whether we want to proceed forward with the motion to liquidate or have a discussion on the motion not to liquidate.
You don't know what you're talking about.
So let's take a vote just if we're going to discuss the motion to liquidate. Okay. Do I have a question called?
No.
This isn't to approve the motion, this is to discuss it, let's discuss it.
No.
I'm happy to discuss it. I can't up here.
Point on, if you move and second, you're in a position to second. Y'all read the motion. And
If I do it, we're going to take a vote. Let's do it.
discuss it.
We're just discussing whether we're going to take a vote on whether we're going to discuss it.
Discuss after the second, not after the vote. The vote is concluded.
Discussion is to.
All right, who wants to substitute? We're not approving the substitute motion. We're just like, who wants to discuss the substitute motion? I'm talking about roll call vote on that issue. Then we'll go back and discuss the motion.
Mr. Upton?
Yes, I would like to discuss it.
We'll be just focusing on discussion, so we can
Yes,
hear.
yes. Please consider with the roll call.
Mr. Upton?
Yes?
Mr. Lewis? Dr.
We're,
Lewis?
we're just going to discuss.
That's correct.
But why
You don't need a motion.
discuss?
This was about to die.
We're discussing.
Correct. We're just substituting this motion for the vote.
We're just discussing the substitute.
They trying to stop it.
If you want to discuss.
Floor's already.
Yes.
The floor is open for discussion.
What is the roll call for?
If the roll call, no.
I'm asking the executive director, I'm not asking the. I'm asking the executive director.
The second, the motion is to discuss, which we don't need, because once you read the motion, you move into discussion.
Well, that's
So,
incorrect.
you don't need,
That's very correct.
The motion is to take the liquidation motion off the table and put that motion on the
We're
table.
already saying that we're discussing it right now. That's.
Mr. Patel motion and Mr. Callis second. Now we have discussion.
We have this, that's what we're doing.
So you don't have to do.
All right, y'all going to discuss, that's good.
Make it decide now.
No, I just wanted to clarify one more time exactly what.
I believe I stated what I needed to state about my inability to trust the chairperson to be, and you to be the only signers on that, because we have an executive committee that already does that. And Mr. Chairman over here, he doesn't respond to the need to make financial decisions.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand this. The people that can write checks, and Ms. Bernard, you can correct me, and I think I understand this, the people that can write checks or just approve or write.
Approve.
The executive director can, we have it set up where we have segregation of duties. We set up bill.com.
Right.
Okay, or we can write a check in-house. As long as it's under $5,000, I can sign,
Gotcha.
okay? Any bill, I can sign. If it's over 5,000, it requires the executive director to sign and a second signature, which is the secretary treasurer,
Right.
the vice chair,
Right.
or the chairman. Okay, now, if those people are not available, then it goes to another commissioner. Because y'all are not available.
So if I'm missing something, this seems to be the only sticking point.
That's it with his motion. So take number 2, out because we already have check
And
signing.
it doesn't follow the procedure.
It does not.
And that's GAEDA's policy, right?
Right.
Correct.
So let me ask Mr. Patel a question, maybe I can find his bill here.
And that resolution has already been given to the bank. And, I mean, you guys have an election, and that's what it does. That's why I called the secretary and treasurer to sign when Ms. Cheney was secretary.
So it sounds like to me this is me signing anything to redundant.
By bank regulations, you have to have a resolution from this body to get on the check signing card. You're about to get into something that's gonna complicate the procedure
Exactly.
that you already have, that you're adhering to, that's acceptable to the bank.
I think,
So you got to go through proper resolutions.
Mr. Austin, we're on the same page. It seems like to me,
You're not.
well, I kind of, there's sort of, everyone knows my view, it's about the responsibility and all of this stuff. I don't know if it's, where this could get us. I mean, if we feel like we want to, if the dissolution of, if taking of the dissolution is off the table, and I appreciate your motion, I get that. If that's the middle ground, I just don't see how, if you're adding me on for the check writing, it's just another component of it. I don't know if I need to be in. I don't know. Mr. Patel, I want you to kind of
Agree with that?
or if it's somebody's got a problem. Look, the whole premise of that one sentence was to involve you and Mr. Upton. Okay. Now, if that doesn't bother you, I'll take it off. It'll just satisfy you two. And look, I'm trying to be the middle ground here because I want all 7 of these votes to go this way. And this is the only way this can start. Okay, so it seems like me to the middle ground. Just people have, if we take me off of that check writing thing, I mean, it seems like it sticks with Mr. Upton.
It sticks with the policy.
It's what our policies state and our rules of procedure. It's in our personnel policies and procedures and our rules of procedure, which is basically our bylaws. But that's what it states, that's what the bank has.
It's not in the rules of procedure.
It is, that Secretary of Treasury is, I believe it's on page 2. I believe it's on page 2. You go to our.
We just.
Take your time.
I forgot a motion on the table in a sec. We need this morning. Move on.
Okay, so if, Mr. Patel, if you remove me off of that, that seems to be, if I understand, that gets everybody through the hoops.
You have a copy?
I can't speak for the other members, but that seems to get everybody through the hoop, am I wrong? Yeah.
Well, we're just going with the policy.
Right.
Do items 1, 3, and 4.
You're right. Right,
If everybody's okay.
right.
Okay, that's, we'll need an amendment to the substitute motion.
I'll make the amendment to remove item 2 from the substitute.
Okay, do we have a second?
But, are we trying to include the minutes? Because there's.
Yes, we're.
Right now, we're not.
So this.
Do we have a-
Mr. Carroll motion, is there a second?
Are we in discussion about the amendment?
Which, when we get the second, with the amendment. So.
We have
have
a motion to the substitute motion.
Would you let her talk? You just
Can we,
speaking to everybody.
can we clarify?
We have an amendment for,
Yes.
amendments to the, substitute motion to hire Barbara Belton on a temporary basis to approve the minutes of April 5th and April 25th. That's the, amendment. It's leaving out number 2.
Yeah, that's my understanding. That's it.
Yes, sir. And that was
That's
Mr.
it.
Carroll's motion.
Mr. Carroll's motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Well, we need discussion.
Discussion.
So, can I,
This only amendment is to move paragraph 2.
But
but I have an issue with the minutes because the minutes are.
But we're not talking about the minutes.
Well, that's what she just read.
That's a-
Minutes was
that's a-
included.
it is.
We have a motion, substitute
The
motion.
motion is items 1, 3, and 4.
But
No,
he's saying that it's the 3 and 4. That's what
it's
I'm trying
1,
Oh, did you say
It's just-
yes, it's
1, 3,
and
and
4.
So we're talking about just
No,
number
I
one.
like the minutes.
We want just number one.
No, he's saying we keep 1, 3, and 4. We take out 2.
Well, then the minutes, the minutes are incorrect.
And he,
We'll talk about the minutes when we get there.
But we're on discussion right now.
We're on discussion. We're on, look.
We're on discussion.
Here's the motion on the floor. Do we amend paragraph 2 of the substitute motion? After that, we'll go to the minute portion.
Well,
Discuss that.
it's all in the
I know,
document.
but
So
we got to take one step at a time.
we've already seconded, now
We
it's on
have a motion,
discussion.
we have a motion to amend with the second.
We already had it.
To remove paragraph 2. All in favor of removing paragraph 2, please call.
Well, it's on the floor for discussion.
Okay, well, I thought we, okay, let's discuss.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, so this, now let's discuss. Well, one, on the April 25th minute, we had a motion, that motion failed. Because Mr. Gallo-
Yes, sir. About-
It's on, she just read the entire motion and it included that. Now, if we want to say number one, we can just do number one.
That's
She-
right,
But then,
We got a motion on the
well, then, on those
All
minutes,
right, just make your pick.
thank you. On those minutes, Mr. Callis had an invalid vote, so it should be 3-3.
Yes.
And I want that record, I want that to be reflected. And then we can go forward after that. And 15th, I don't think we need to approve it until after this court hearing comes back. So April 15th, I want to bring those minutes. April, yes.
April 5th.
April 5th, I want that to be brought back after the ruling. And the 25th, it needs to reflect that that motion to terminate Ms. Sanders failed 3-3 because of an invalid vote for conflict of interest. The commissioner who is suing us voted to try to remove the attorney that responded.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is, right now, do we remove paragraph 2? And let's do a roll call vote on that, then we'll discuss the minutes.
No.
Oh, yes. Do we remove
Yes,
paragraph
all of them.
You have discussion first. I'm here to discuss it. You can't vote on a matter, Mr. Upton, and then discuss it after it's already been voted on.
We're
And
not
you
voting.
don't know that we have a bigger problem than what's in this room.
What are we voting on?
You
ma'am?
just asked for a roll
Well,
call.
we,
The roll call vote is to approve or not approve the motion on the floor to take out paragraph 2.
but the motion includes the.
It
Yes, it does. So if we want to just do number one, then we can vote to do number one, which is this attorney there, and then go to each other item. That's how they do this. I've been doing this for a long time.
That's not the chair, let's vote.
Well, you can interpret it, and I should be moving. Yes.
Can I say one thing? Take like a 10-minute break. I've got.
No, we need to continue.
You know, that's.
You ain't want to take no more. Remember you said when you get back? We ain't going nowhere. We got with that.
Council, council.
The restroom back there? Yeah, the first story.
I mean, you ready?
Now, and is it straight? Is it going straight across or what? It's sideways, but you are hearing the sound now, right? Oh, okay. Oh, her just text me back. I don't have very much power on this one. What kind of procedure? What kind of ports you have, or what kind of? You got a seat type. You got a seat. I gotta have the mic on the seat. I got a seat type. And I went off. And what you say you have now? I got a C type HMI. On this one, I'm running. I'm gonna have enough power. It's just that the camera. I don't never use this phone. No, I don't.
We have a copy of the motion. I need a copy of the amendment. Here's the board's. Who has a copy of the substitute motion? Okay.
Well,
It appears that the consensus seems to be that we want to vote on number 1 separately, 2 separately, 3 separately, and 4 separately. And we are procedurally. There was a motion and a second to liquidate. That there has been a substitute motion put on top of the motion to liquidate. So we're talking about the substitute motion. The substitute motion has 4 paragraphs, and apparently we want to vote on each paragraph separately. So then if that's okay, we'll
If we
proceed
do
with
this
that.
number 1, number 3 and 4, 2 are already on here. That's what I'm trying to say. Those are already items on the agenda. So we're substituting. He wanted to use.
substituting that whole thing.
He substituted the whole thing.
Why not?
But look,
But if we're making it one long motion with all those, but we already have the 2 items on there.
but the sense I get is y'all want to vote one at a time. We need our other 2 commissioners here, Mr. Patel and Mr. John, we're about to.
I think we discussed with the rest of the right now.
Yeah, you have them, don't you have them? You have a form, right?
Do we need to do I need to amend my motion to say that we vote individually for those awarded?
Yeah, let me.
I just make sure procedure.
We have 4. Yeah, we have 4. So let's go.
Need y'all votes.
Trying. All right, we're out there. Time order. But after discussing with various commissioners, apparently they want to take the substitute motion 1 paragraph at a time, which is fine. That option, 1 motion. So procedurally, right now, there was a motion to liquidate that has been substituted with the substitute motion that has 4 paragraphs. Now, what I would like to do, if y'all are okay, I'll read paragraph 1. Let's get a motion and a second on it. We will discuss it and then vote on it. Then we'll read paragraph 2, get a motion and a second, discuss it and vote. Are y'all okay with that?
Do we need to have a vote to say that that's okay, so we have that on the record?
Yeah, okay. Who's, okay.
I'll make the motion that
Who wants to proceed as follows? Let's take the substitute motion 1 paragraph at a time. We'll have a motion on it, we'll have a second, we'll have a discussion, and then we'll vote. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, who's in favor of following that procedure?
1 by 1.
Yeah. Yeah, roll call, please.
Mr. Upton,
Yes.
Dr. Lewis,
Yes.
Ms. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Morgan,
Yes.
Mr. Callen.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries.
We all agree that's the first time ever.
Paragraph 1 of the substitute motion. Okay. Paragraph 1 of the substitute motion reads as follows. It's to hire Barbara Melton on a temporary basis as the attorney for GAEDA. Ms. Melton, as GAEDA's attorney, assumes responsibility matters pertaining or involving it, and shall assume responsibility for all legal matters which may arise in the future. Ms. Melton shall be paid the same hourly rate as previous contract counsel, only during the temporary appointment. So that's the motion. Do I have a motion? Does anyone want to make their one motion? So do I have a second on that motion? Second. Okay, do we have discussion from the commissioners on paragraph 1?
I have a discussion about that. So in the minutes that we are still unclear about because we're waiting on a court ruling, I don't believe that Ms. Melton should be on there. I believe Tiffany Sanders is still our attorney, but that's not been decided yet. So why are we hiring another attorney?
That's right.
That's one paper to
So that's one paper to attorneys, and that seems to be a big problem for some of these courts that we were paying too much.
That's right, that's
So I don't really understand why we are replacing our attorney with this attorney at the same rate, which seems to be a problem before.
Okay, any further discussion?
Oh, we need clarification. A 3-3 vote failed to remove Ms. Sanders. Ms. Sanders is legally still our attorney at this very moment. And that's why we separated the minutes, because the minutes would have denied the actual vote of 3-3.
Don't take your seat.
And we have,
Don't take your seat, Tim.
we had a legal vote on the matter of removing. So if we want to stick with our attorney, I would agree to this item.
Before I speak, anybody else? There's always been this discussion, and everybody knows, it's been, I have said this on my Facebook page, and I appreciate Mr. Porter saying it's a treatise. It's actually, a lot of times it is, I write a lot. But I definitely voted at that meeting, and I do never have had any conflict of interest in the actual petition itself, when people read it. There's a piece of language in there that I've had my lawyer put on there that I'm not getting any lawyer's fees. I asked for a very specific ruling on one thing. So my vote did happen that day. Initially, I gave everybody, I promise I'll be brief. I took my vote that day. People yelled at me. They screamed at me. I got my vote out. The chair recognized it. I got the yes in. And to say that it was an illegal vote, that's obviously for the next level. If somebody feels like I couldn't vote or I had an illegal vote, but my vote was taken that day. So that's the only discussion I have.
Any further discussion?
Well, you're admitting that you violated the ethics law in front of the public. So again, the 3-3 failed, and Ms. Sanders is technically our attorney. So if we want to have two attorneys at the same rate, that's fine as well.
Any other discussion from the commission? Okay, good. I'll call the question. Let's have a roll call on it.
No, discussion.
Well, we had public discussion, but I don't have.
Mr. Upton. It's way over. It's out, your behavior is outrageous. And as the former attorney, the current attorney or whatnot, you are out of line, sir. You really are. I would suggest to this body, the body that I have represented for many, many years. And Mr. Patel, this is discussion on that item. You and I have had conversations, and since we're here, right? I was actually shocked at your vote, as I've stated to you. You gave me the reason as to why you voted the way you did. I don't think it's necessary to put it out there, because I'm gonna give you that respect to not do that. However, according to you, the reason has been clarified. You stated you were misled. You were wrong. So if that's the case, I don't know if you even know Barbara Melton. I know her. She's an excellent attorney. She's very competent. She is an outstanding lawyer. I would suggest that you probably never even met that lady. Probably wouldn't even know her if she walked in this room, but you do know me. And you did say that what you said about why you voted the way you did. So I'm gonna ask you to substitute your substitute motion, since there is so much confusion about Mr. Callis's vote, whether he could, should, or shouldn't, we can clear that up right now. If, I don't know what you said it to my face, as to why you did that. We all know this comes down on 4-3, 3-4, 4-3 always. Substitute your substitute motion and if what you said to me was the truth, which I believe it was, replace Barbara Melton's name back with my name. So whether that vote needs to go to court or whatnot, we don't have to do that. We can straighten it out right now.
All right, any further, there's no more further comments.
You ought to have to comment after every item.
No, they don't.
Yes,
They don't.
do. They
Right.
have to comment after.
We're gonna take a vote on this item.
She has to come public after.
No, she doesn't, sir.
After every
Public
item,
has to comment after every
the
item.
open meeting law states that after every item,
No, it doesn't.
is allowed.
Yes, it does. Public has to comment after every. Ms.
All right,
Ronaldo.
please.
Thank you.
Let's let her talk, move on.
I'd like to remind you that, one, we are here about the business of the people. We're the people.
Yeah.
We're the people. That's what it's for. And I'd like to point out again, and I'd like to recommend that you substitute your motion to include the name of Tiffany Sanders. If it is not race, now's the time to prove it.
That's right.
If it's not about the money, because you're offering the new attorney, that you're proposing the same rate. So if our perception has been wrong, prove it now. When you have done something wrong, you have a moral obligation to make it right. Make it right.
Thank you.
So you.
All right, we have a motion and a roll call vote, please.
I just said one word.
He didn't substitute his motion.
He did, he did.
Well, I want to make a substitution. Oh, no, I'm sorry, go ahead. Let you move.
I'm Renwick Bacon, pastor and manager of Baptist Church, Coffee Drive, president moderator of the Education and Missionary Baptist Association. I've been sitting back and looking at this meeting, and I think we missed an exit point at this meeting. What I suggest is that we conclude this meeting and we get under some direction of two founding members, Mr. Laverne and Mr. Lawson. And we leave this business, this entity where it needs to go. Because I think they know where this road leads. I'm asking, man.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Substitute
Thank you.
motion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, and we need a roll call vote. Roll call vote, please.
Substituting.
No, we're gonna take care of the first substitute motion first, and we'll go to another substitute motion, one at a time. Roll call vote, please.
Can we read it again?
As a point of order, you go to the last substitute.
Shall assume all responsibility for all legal matters currently pending or involving and shall assume responsibility for all legal matters which may arise in the future. She will be paid the same hourly rate as the previous contract capital, only during the temporary appointment period.
Okay, well,
Motion on the floor.
I'm placing the substitute motion.
Well, you're out of order.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Roll call vote.
No, I'm not.
Roll call
Substitute to replace,
Ms. Martineau, roll call vote.
Ms. Barbara Melton with Tiffany Sanders for the substitute, of this motion, but replacing Barbara Melton with Tiffany Sanders.
Mr. Lewis, can I say one thing? I don't even know if that motion is needed. If your contention is that Tiffany Sanders is still the lawyer.
Well, we need to put it on the record to make sure.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not
just
concerned
for,
about
just for
it.
clarity. Yeah, put everything on the record.
All right, we need to vote on the motion on the floor.
Well, the substitute is to replace Barbara Melton's name with Tiffany
We'll
Sanders.
vote on that after we vote on the motion on the floor.
No,
Please
it's
call the roll on number one.
The substitute, last substitute has to be addressed.
Mr. Upton, I have a feeling I know what the substitute.
Okay, we'll go out of order. What's the substitute motion?
The substitute is to replace Barbara Melton.
Okay,
We're going with the same motion, but instead of Barbara Melton, it'll be Tiffany Sanders.
okay.
Second, third, fourth, and everything.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Upton?
No.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Katz?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
No.
Mr. Patel?
No.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Callis?
No.
Motion fails. Now let's call the motion that was properly on the floor, paragraph 1, entire dismissal. Please call the roll.
Mr. Upton?
Yes?
Dr. Lewis?
No.
Ms. Katz? No. Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
No.
Mr. Callis?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, let's move on to paragraph 2. The chairperson and Commissioner Callis acting together are authorized to approve payment of future legal bills submitted to GAEDA and to sign all checks and authorize any electronic drafts necessary for the payment of such legal services. That motion is on the, do we have a motion?
I thought that was taken out.
No, we never voted on it. Because
We're doing one by one.
we're doing them one by one. He wanted to do them one by one, so, okay. That's a motion on the table, or does anybody want to make it? If not, we can dies for lack of a motion.
I don't want to motion myself.
Okay. Any motion? All right. Number 2 dies. For lack of a, number 3, to approve the minutes of the April 5th, 2024 special meeting, held at the Hotel Beverly by Robertsburg. Meetings were attached to the original motion. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Second?
Second.
Okay, motion and second, discussion?
These are meetings regarding to, say, April 5th.
And we're talking about the April 5th, motion and a second to approve the April 5th minutes.
No, I think we need to table those until this ruling comes back.
Okay, we have a motion to table. Any second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote?
Mr. Upton?
No.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Katz?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
No.
Mr. Patel?
No.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
To
Mr.
table?
Callis?
You want to table it? She didn't hear it. The motion is to table.
Until the next meeting. till after the ruling.
The motion is to
I
table.
don't want to.
Okay, so just vote no, please.
Goodness.
Okay. Motion fails. Now, please, the motion to approve the minutes, April 5th, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Upton?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
What are we on? April 5th?
April 5th.
No.
April 25th.
What are we doing? April 5th?
We're doing April 5th, number 3.
Ms. Katz?
It's just
No.
5th.
Wait, which one did we just?
We're on
we did
April 5th.
fifth? I thought we just did 5th.
No, he did a motion to table, that
Okay.
failed, so we're on
Okay,
April 5th.
okay.
So,
Okay, what's your vote?
I'm gonna go back,
Okay,
Mr. Upton,
to approve, yes, I vote yes to approve.
Dr. Lewis.
Dr. Lewis?
Or April 5th minutes regarding to the attorney, or what are these, what, I need to know exactly what the minutes are for.
Well, the minutes were attached to the.
Give me 1 second.
Here's the minutes, right?
I'm going to pull it
They're
up.
not attached.
They want to attach it.
This is what happens when you get stuff right before and then you throw the agenda together.
Here's the April 5th.
I- So April 5th minutes was to rescind and declare void all actions taken from February 19th. So that is the court date that we're waiting on. So no, I would like to get a court decision on that.
Okay.
We're in a legal battle for my home commission.
All right. Mr. Lewis is no, next, please
Dr.
continue with the roll
Lewis,
call.
Dr. Lewis, please.
Please continue with the roll call.
Thank you.
Ms. Katz? No. Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan? Mr. Morgan?
No, no.
Mr. Callis?
Yes.
All right, motion carries, 4-3. All right, the last item on the substitute agenda is to approve the minutes of the April 25th, 2024 special commission meeting held at the Hotel Bed in Bayou Roberts. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? Motion. Do I have a second to approve? Second. So, their motion is second. Roll call vote, please.
And this is to remove, well, this is an illegal vote by Callis, and it failed 3-3 to remove Ms. Sanders as our attorney. This is what these minutes are reflecting.
Roll call vote, please.
So,
Roll call vote.
Did you give her time, please?
Yeah, we just give her a few minutes.
Oh, you
Any comments?
Ooh.
Can we have some comments?
No, sir, comments on this?
They don't teach you make roll. Yeah, they can't.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't.
No.
No.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
No.
Mr. Callis?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-3. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
No, I need to make public comments. I need to make comments. First of all, you should resign right now. That's my comment. Because I'm sick of it. I try to get up here and be professional. I try to handle business in a professional manner and make sure that I represent not just Ms. Perry, but the Sunny Quarter that I was born and raised in, the city that I returned and put all my money into, to make sure that we, as a city as a whole, move forward. But you need to resign. One, because you're on the city of Alexandria's payroll, so you shouldn't even be up here. Two, Mr. Rubin, you knowingly nominated him for this commission with that, knowing that he had a conflict of interest. You've been around long enough to know, or to have the understanding that the appearance of it is there. Full as day. Full as day. And now you see what that has caused. And you're supposed to be some kind of high-powered attorney, but look what you do. And then you try to make it seem like I don't know. I'm gonna talk about me with my 4 degrees. Like I don't know first and foremost how to read and understand anything. And like I don't have 15 years of business experience. You should resign. Not should. You need to resign right now. You already have ethics against you right now. I'm sick of it.
Take his license.
Consequences up to.
And Mr. Carroll, your money do not make you untouchable.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
And
Yes.
yes.
Yes, do I have a motion?
Mr. Morgan has been extremely patient. He's had something he's wanted to read this entire time.
Thank you, Mr. GAEDA's been here for 20 years and has never been involved in controversy until Mr. Upton and Mr. Callis was appointed 90 days ago. GAEDA has had 2 decades of successful operation and has provided significant funding to hundreds of organizations and events that come to this city. The funding that we give has been vital for the growth of our community. Mr. Upton, you've asked us to come here today to shut down the doors of GAEDA. Over the past 90 days, all I've heard has been how much this has cost, how much Mr. Mueller has made over the last 5 years, how much Mr. Mueller has made over the last 10 years. Yet, your firm, Mr. Greg Upton, the gold firms makes a minimum of $10 million per year off the backs of hardworking people of this city. Many who struggle on a daily basis to keep their utilities on. And here we are today with a motion before us asking to spend $30,000 to shut the doors of GAEDA. I said $30,000. But I guess that's okay, use of GAEDA's money when it comes to giving the money to someone who you choose to do what you want them to do. It's obvious, the motivation behind this. It's obvious as to who wants to take control of GAEDA. Don't think for a moment that the people don't know what all this is leading to. The board, you completely ignored Ms. Sanders' legal advice after she handed and walked you through the law, which showed that President's Day was not a legal holiday, and that the vote to appoint Ms. Bernardo as executive director was correct. She highlighted it in yellow for us to read. But instead of listening to our attorney, you agreed with a lawsuit being filed against Ms. Bernardo and against your own organization, knowing full well that Ms. Sanders was right. You wanted to prevent Ms. Bernardo from being the executive director. That's what this is all about. And instead of going to court in 2 weeks to hear Ms. Sanders was right, you decided instead to just destroy the entire organization.
Yeah, take my ball and go.
Mr. Upton, you came here and in less than 90 days ago and was voted as the chair, only to vote 90 days later to destroy it. Your motives are clear, sir. You, Mr. Collins, didn't even bother to attend the GAEDA annual retreat with us. You knew about it. I think the day before that, I ran across you at McDonald's and told you about it. You haven't attended a single staff meeting, not a one. You haven't attended most regular meetings. You haven't attempted to even meet with Ms. Angie to discuss GAEDA and the direction she would like to go in. You have introduced an idea on economic, you have not introduced any ideas on economic development in this community. You haven't suggested any ideas to this board on what direction you would like to see the board go. As you have done in the last 90 days, is to be a dictator, a bully, disrespectful, and divisive. And whine. Calling special meeting after special meeting to nullify Ms. Bernardo's contract, to terminate Ms. Sanders' contract, to void this and void that. So to you, Ms. Sanders, I say thank you for being an outstanding attorney for GAEDA without compromising your integrity, even though you knew that if you didn't go along with their plan, they would fire you. Fire you for doing the right thing for this organization. Ms. Bernardo, I say thank you for gracefully handling disrespect and adversity, all while continuing to do the work of GAEDA. Thank you. I hope that everyone that's in this room, everyone who's watching this, all the organizations that this is going to negatively impact, I hope that all of you remember this day and the city councilman, Ms. Lee Rubin and Ms. Lizzie Bettner, who intentionally placed these two on this board to do exactly what they're doing to this organization. It's shameful. And I know you can't wait to get out of this room.
The 8th has got to go.
Yep.
The 8th has got to go.
You're going.
And one other thing I want to be clear about. Mr. Callis, you don't know me, sir. So keep my name out your mouth. Keep my name off of your little smirky text messages. Am I clear? Thank you all.
The 8th has got to go.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn? No. There's a motion, do we have a second? All right, all in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed?
I just want to do this, okay? They all got to go. Every last one of them. You get this, mister?
Get in front of the camera, I can get it.
Oh, yours can't turn around, but thank you.
How you figure my numbers are wrong?
It's me. I know.
90 days?
No.
What are you
This,
talking about? What numbers are you talking about?
we're talking about.
I didn't do the slide.
Okay, well, you passing out erroneous information.
No,
then.
I didn't pass it out. He was in a chair when I got here.
Well, okay, well, just make sure you're pushing out factual information.
I can say the same thing too.
No, everything come out of here is factual. Yeah. You guys, I definitely want to thank you guys for joining us over here today. See if I can swap the camera around. Hey, I definitely want to thank everybody for joining us today. Yeah, almost. It's almost out. Yeah, I want to say thank you guys for joining us, and we're going to definitely keep following the developments here over at GAEDA, and we'll keep you guys posted. Y'all have a great day.